What is going on, guys? And welcome back to another video. In this one, I just wanted to have a really raw and honest conversation with Zach here. This is our first time ever meeting. It's our first time ever conversating
Yeah,
outside of the
yeah.
fact that I texted him a couple days ago and I said, "Hey, man, like, could you jump on my YouTube channel and do a little bit of a podcast?" So I'm going to try to give a little bit of an introduction of Zach. And then, Zach, what I want you to do is I want you to kind of correct me on a couple things, go a little bit more into depth on your story. But as I understand, you are somebody, you're living in Texas, and you recently got divorced, and you've been posting TikToks, you've been posting on Instagram, basically all about your life post divorce after your wife had cheated on you. And you started, from my understanding, posting after the divorce actually happened. Is that correct? Or were you posting before that?
I was posting before, but it was just like fitness stuff. I had
Gotcha.
already wanted to. I had already goals to get into the fitness world, if you will, because I played football in college and things like that. Couldn't really do it professionally due to injuries, but yeah, my divorce was finalized September 1st, but
Gotcha.
my marriage was over. I mean, let's be honest, it was over in April, of late February when everything hit the fan.
I see.
When the lies were shown, revealed, and I learned the truth, not just about her, but about a lot of things.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, I started posting really when I had the papers in hand. Um, and I'll fill you in on more of that process, just what I had to go through, not just with myself, but countering her behavior and the things that were happening in our own home at the time.
Yeah. Very
And
interesting. Okay. And you,
very,
you don't have any
yeah.
kids, correct?
No kids. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, gotcha.
Thank the
So
Lord.
no kids. The divorce is final, but the marriage was, falling apart for a while. It
Yeah.
takes a while for things to continue to unfold. And you were posting fitness content before, but now you've just kind of transitioned into posting about your life, posting about all of this, and I've seen that new style of content. That's ultimately what made me want to reach out because I was like, this guy has had a very, very interesting, unique experience. And I think that a lot more guys need to hear about this situation
Yeah.
that kind of happen to be informed on these types of things. And I think it sparks a whole lot of other discussions that like need to be had, by men in society today. But just so I can get a little bit more understanding about who you are you religious at all? And was she religious?
Yeah. So I I was raised, I'll just be, and this is the thing about me, Brandon, is that I won't, there's no hidden agenda.
Hmm.
I really don't care about my reputation, especially after going through something like this. So I'll tell you the truth. I was actually raised in the Latter-day Saint Church. I am the youngest of seven. I have a twin brother. I did 2-year missionary work in Taiwan. I came home, and I'm a man. I have my urges. I got temptations, just like every other man does. But I'm not active in my church. It's quite a long story.
Gotcha.
My ex-wife, she was not Mormon.
Gotcha.
And to tell you the truth, I wasn't looking for an LDS wife.
I see.
That's
I
just,
see.
so to get to to the answer, we were Christian. We went to church. We'd in fact go to church with her parents, her mother and her stepdad,
Interesting. Okay.
and we're very close to them. And even her grandparents, they go to, I think it's a Lutheran church around town.
Gotcha.
But we would just kind of go to a couple non-denominational, and then every once in a while go down to there's in Highland Park they have that. I can't remember the name of it. It's one of those heavy duty, super quiet, reverent churches, and so we go there
Okay.
sometimes. But you know, to tell you the truth, when she was hiding things is when we stopped going to church. I think
Very
that's kind of
interesting.
I think it's very interesting. Is I wanted to be steady with church, and then
Mhm.
on the other hand, my wife did not, and I think
I
that kind of
see.
shows the divergent of the paths that we're on now. Is one of us wants to get closer to God, and the other just refuses to do so. But
I see.
yeah,
So you were raised Mormon in the LDS
mhm,
church, and
yeah,
then you kind of left that side of things, and then you started attending church with kind of her parents, and you guys were going to church regularly. And so you're a professing Christian now, correct? I'm just trying to make sure that I understand everything
yeah.
fully.
Not to divulge and get into the whole religious discourse, but being raised in the Mormon Church, we believe that we are Christian, that we do testify of Christ.
Hmm.
I do consider myself, despite what other Christians or other churches will say, like Mormons aren't Christian. Like I believe I am Christian because I've built a relationship with the Savior, and that's more of my testimony of why I
Gotcha.
even speak about my experiences so vocally and so unfiltered and so vulnerable is because of my relationship with the Savior.
Gotcha. Okay,
And
I
yeah,
see. So you're a religious. I guess you would say that you're becoming a more religious man, or that's ultimately where you seek to be headed, and where you are right now. Considering that you've gone through all of this, do you see yourself continuing to get like even more that way?
yeah, I think a lot of us that have grown up not just in, let me just use an example, not in just the Mormon church, but in the Catholic church or in the Presbyterian, it doesn't matter, is that at a young age, you kind of, for lack of a better term, you're coerced. You're not, the world, society wants to say you're brainwashed, right?
Hmm.
I'm going to use that term because you don't really know better as a
Hmm.
kid, even a teenager, and then you grow up and then you're faced with life.
Hmm.
Something happens, something detrimental, something hard. You go to college, you get hurt, like it doesn't matter what it is, and you're faced with that question, like, wait a sec, do I really believe the things that I was raised around? And
100%.
I I still believe quite a few things, and then there's some things that I'm just like, like everybody else. And this divorce, I mean, 2025, the whole year, I mean, it has been that constant, test of my faith. It's been this constant, battle of, do I choose to be a good man despite what's happened to me?
Hmm.
Do I become resentful? Do I become bitter?
Hmm.
And because of the way that I was raised, I mean, look, my parents are married. They've been married for 40 years. They actually celebrated their 40th anniversary. I want to say that was back in July this year. And I have six siblings. Every single one of us, with the exception of myself now and my twin brother, are married and have kids and very functional, very stable, right? Some of them go to church and some of them don't, right? Some of them are Mormon and some of them aren't. But
Hmm.
we are very, very respectful to each other.
Hmm.
But I think the main um, lining, the foundation is the family centered home. That my dad has been that patriarch,
Yeah.
right? He's led the way, but it hasn't been that discourse, if you will, where nowadays women don't, they see that traditionalism, if you will, in the
Hmm.
conservative household. But I was raised around that, so I know how
Gotcha.
it functions and know how it
Yeah.
works. If that
Yeah,
makes
and then it
sense.
works well. Okay. So you
Yeah,
were you were raised in a traditional family. You've got a lot of siblings. Walk me back through, let's see here. When did you first get married? And sort of tell me how the story unfolded. Like what led
yeah,
up to the point of ultimately her cheating on you? How did you find out? And what were you going through at the time? If you could just
yeah,
like let's just go through your story, everything that you've been through the past year.
yeah. And I'll say again, I'll reiterate this, that I won't hide anything. There's no hidden agenda. Um, I think before I begin, one of the points that is so um, catchy and, well, eye-catchy about my story to most people is just what I've seen from the reactions on my TikTok and my Instagram is that so many people have never seen it from a man's perspective,
Hmm. Yeah.
right? You see it all the time. You see the girl, oh my, she's crying, she's this, my
Hmm.
boyfriend, my husband dumped me, cheated on me, but you never see it from the man's,
Yes.
right?
Hmm.
So I've gotten tremendous amount of support, but I've also gotten a lot of flack, right? But
Yeah. Well,
so
that was one of the things that I was going to talk to you about was it's a very interesting thing to see your
mm,
type of content that you post because it shows this level of vulnerability that's almost like it's almost scary to put that out there and say like, hey
yeah,
guys, this is how I was treated and this is what I'm feeling. And that's scary to be truly that authentic when you've
yeah,
been through the shitter. Like it's easy to be authentic when your life is going well, but it's
yeah,
really hard to be
yeah,
authentic when you feel like everything is going to shit. And
dude,
that's why
yeah,
your content is so like relatable to a lot of people, but it makes sense that you do catch the flack that you do as well because there's
right.
kind of a dichotomy to that.
Yeah, you got the guys that are like, dude, man up, this, as they say behind a private Instagram. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, all right. Like the difference, a man like you, I look up to you in a lot of ways, man. You have skin in the game, right? You have bloodied your knuckles, you have calloused your hands, you have a soft, quiet heart. And that's not to say you don't have a strong heart. That means you're capable and you've gone through something and you've allowed that suffering transmute you into a better man,
Hmm.
right? And that's what most of these guys they've never allowed happen, right? So
Very
they
true.
see something that I've gone through, or I guarantee you've gotten so much crap from
Hmm.
guys, and they're spectators. I say it all the time.
Hmm.
Guys like us are willing to step in the arena and
Hmm.
be cringe, be vulnerable, be seen as weak when it's really not weakness at all,
Hmm.
right? So to start this journey, right? So I was married May 17th of 2024. Okay, my marriage only lasted a year. I'll
Hmm.
say I give it a year, but it really was over a couple weeks before our 1 year anniversary.
Hmm.
So my ex, she and I, we actually, let's see, in 20, I guess it would have been 2020. She was at Oklahoma and I was in Louisiana for school, and we would come home to Dallas, and sporadically we would meet and date. And then she eventually had me meet her family, and man, from then, I mean, I have never been around a group of people that were so obsessed with me,
Hmm.
right?
Wow.
So not only was she obsessed with me, but her mother, her stepdad, and her stepbrothers, and all her friends, and then even more her grandparents. Like everybody was like, "Who is this Zach guy?" Like, I mean, I don't I shaved my head, but I had a mane of hair, and I was this football player. I was tanned, like, and then I came from a great family, like, and I didn't see what I know now.
Yeah.
Obviously, rose-colored glasses that I was wearing for a long time.
Yeah, and that's tricky. That's tricky about you
Yes.
telling your story because you're going to have to go back into it and dissect it for us while
Yeah.
trying to let us know what your view of it was at the time versus like it's got to be completely different from what it is now because
Yeah.
you can look back and hindsight's always going to be 2020 and some people will
Yeah.
probably say like, "Oh, you walked right into it." But you don't see those things at the very
No,
beginning. They
man.
could be right in front of your face and you can't see it. And
Yeah.
that's kind of the perspective difference and also why it makes you very courageous to be able to go out
Yeah.
there and say like, "Hey guys, like these things did happen. There were things pointing me in this direction like that I should have known about. I should have taken more into account, but at the same time like I didn't cuz we get blinded by that type of stuff. We believe what
Yeah.
we want to believe. We see what we want to see." So yeah,
Right.
continue.
Right. No, you're exactly right. I think I never used to believe that love like is blind type thing, or that you could be swindled,
Hmm.
or like I never thought I could be so naive to think that, oh, that will never happen to me.
Hmm.
Right. So
Hmm.
I met this family, right? And I started dating her, and we were getting more serious. I came back from school because I finished playing ball and I got my degree and had some injuries and things like that. And so, a little background on her family. Her mother owns a business here in Dallas. Okay. And they were like, hey, Zach, come and join the family business. You're getting serious with our daughter. Basically putting me on in this trajectory to
Hmm.
become like this well-rounded business like man, father
Yeah.
figure, like husband for her, right?
Hmm.
They had a lot of money. Okay. That's a factor that was, to be honest, was hard for me to say no to,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
They had a, and that's not to say that my family didn't come from money. It was like my my parents did a, I mean, to this day, I sometimes don't know how they did it with seven of his kids,
Hmm.
right? I can't even imagine like just one kid right now or two kids would be like, how do you guys do that, right? And there's been some amazing miracles that my parents have they've had happen over the years that helped us get by. But so you have this money, right, piece where it's like, wow, I've never been around this. And then I am seriously dating a girl. She's an only child,
Hmm.
right? So I come from the youngest of seven,
Hmm.
and I'm dating a girl that is a single only child, right? I have never really had money, but I've worked very, very hard for everything. I've always paid for my own car with my brothers. I've always worked summers. I mowed grass, lawns, did all this stuff, lifeguarding, service project, worked in warehouses, some construction, right? Fence posts, you name it, right? And then I'm dating this girl that's like her first real job
Hmm.
was working for her mother, right? So
Gotcha.
she's never really earned anything. Okay. But at the time I'm thinking, oh, that's just like privilege.
Yeah, it's
Right.
kind of feminine, right? Isn't it kind
Oh
of
yeah.
feminine to not have worked a
Yeah.
job, to never have
Exactly.
worked for anything? That's a
Exactly.
common misconception.
Uh-huh. Exactly. Hit it on the head. So I and they see my Christian, they all knew that I came from a Mormon background
Hmm.
and they loved it. They were like, get in here.
Hmm.
You're welcome. Like let's go on trips. We go on vacations. We'd go to like these galas and stuff like that. Get dressed up. I was able to look like James Bond, like that. All this stuff, right?
Hmm.
And I just was completely immersed in this new lifestyle. And I have this beautiful girl that is obsessed with me
Hmm.
and she wants what I have. She wants my kids,
Hmm.
right? How can I deny? How can I say no? Right?
Yeah.
And they're very attractive people. Her whole family, they're very, very attractive. They know how to dress. They know how to smell. They know how to like. It was crazy, right?
Hmm.
And so we started dating, and it got to this point where it was like she really was pushing to get married,
Hmm.
right? I was already like, are we gonna get married? Like it was already in the air, right? The
Hmm.
writing was on the wall, but she was like, Zach, I want to get married. I want to get engaged. I want to do this, right? So I'm like, aren't you gonna like, can you wait till like, I wanted to say, can you wait till I get ready?
Hmm.
Right? Because I wanted to be more prepared. And
Hmm.
we dated for a year and a half, and then we were engaged for 1 year, and then we were married for 1 year. Okay.
Gotcha.
She wanted to expedite. She wanted to hasten it, man. She wanted things to just start happening. That's literally what happened. Okay.
Hmm.
I actually haven't shared this detail with I haven't really told the full story. I've
Yeah.
told bits and pieces, right?
Yep.
The wedding ring was never even mine.
Hmm. Okay.
Okay. It wasn't even mine. It was a trade-in that I had gone with her mother to, one of those diamond stores in Dallas.
Hmm.
Traded in and got the one that she wanted, everything that she wanted,
Wow.
right? Everything she wanted. Okay. I didn't even really get to decide when to propose
Hmm.
because it got to this point where she was like, um, "Are you gonna ask me? Are you gonna ask me?" And it was like weeks on end. They'd be like, "Honey, I'm going to ask you, right? But like, let me take the reins with this. Like,
Hmm.
that's more of what the man. Let me take control of this,
Yeah.
right? Everything else is you can get as soon as you want." And then it would turn into like, "Well, do you really love me?" And it's like, Yeah, I do, right?
Hmm.
I want to have this life with you, but let me do this, right? Well, I started getting pressure from her. I got pressure from her mother, and I got pressure from her grandma. Right?
Okay. And you had already bought the ring at this point, or you'd already been
Yeah,
with her mom,
yeah.
the
And
ring. Okay.
already got it, and
Gotcha.
then and then it was like a month after, and then it was just the pressure was just like, it was the spring,
Hmm.
right? And they're like, "Come on, are you gonna ask her?" And it was just like, oh, like, but I and I'm going to say that term, the rose colored glasses, was just like, I did not see that I was being manipulated.
Hmm.
I was, I was so caught up in this new lifestyle, like dude, the sex, this beautiful girl going on vacations, right? And I was just, dude, I was dunked. I was
Hmm.
baptized into this lifestyle, and it was like I just could not. I did not see it in hindsight. Like in hindsight, I do, but at the time, if I could be in third person, look back, I'd be like, dude, hey, you better watch out, right?
Hmm.
So I finally, she already knew I was going to propose to her, right? And um, and it was very genuine. It was very sincere, right? And she's very emotional. We had pictures taken afterward, and and she was so excited, just posting it online and like letting
Hmm.
everybody know. You know how the girls go,
Hmm.
right? And so we at the time were living in an apartment in downtown Dallas, very nice apartment. Um, but we ended up moving to a townhome in a city called Louisville, which is just north of
Hmm.
Dallas,
Yeah.
and lived there pretty much until like I want to say 3 weeks before we actually got married and moved into this house, our
Hmm.
house. Okay, so proposed, um, started planning like crazy, right? They were planning everything.
Hmm.
So they wanted to have a big wedding,
Yeah.
and this is something that I've talked about is it's a major red flag, and I'll talk about some red flags. Um, but these are things that I didn't really, until you go through it,
Hmm.
right? You don't really know that you're in it
Yeah.
until after, right? You're just like, wait a second. Why do big weddings, statistically speaking, why did those couples
Yeah.
split?
Hmm.
Well, there's something there. And
100%.
I'll get to that, right? So I we're engaged. We're living in our townhome, and I'm working. We're both working for her family's company, right?
Gotcha.
And things start to happen in the company where I won't go into it's just detail with the company where her mother had to basically eventually file for bankruptcy, and that was actually after we were married. Okay, but it
Okay.
was started the butterfly effect started to take place.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay, so we're living life, right? We're going on these vacations, and we had a lot of things given to us because that's how she was raised.
Yep.
She's this only child, and she's spoiled,
Yeah.
and she's never had to earn. She's never had to really callous her hands on something like or pay for anything. It's
Yeah.
just been like, I'm gonna go ask grandma, or I'm gonna ask mom, and in one way or another, if she threw a fit or if she was crying, it doesn't matter. Somehow we would get whatever she wanted.
I
Okay.
see. And it seems like she was, or like you were really falling into her frame. Like in terms of, what was your background in terms of, did you always have to work hard for the things that you
Yeah.
had? And that's kind of why you were so
So
entranced by this lifestyle. You're like, oh my gosh, like I can't believe that I can just kind of sit back and not put in that much effort and have all these
yeah,
amazing things just kind of given to me. Is that what it was like?
yeah. It was. I would say it was half that, and then the other half was, dude. I'd be laying in bed, and I'd be like, I still have to maintain that integrity that I had before,
Hmm.
right? And she and I, we would actually get into these, our newly wedded couples, right? Even in the engagement, it's all the honeymoon phase,
Yeah.
right? She and I would never really argue,
Hmm.
okay? But we would get to this point where it was like, hey, I I want to do more. I have to earn these things. I feel like I haven't.
Yeah.
That's just how I'm wired.
So you started to get restless.
Oh man, I would get
Hmm.
restless. And then it was like she kind of understood that and was
Hmm.
like, okay, yeah. And she was like, I want to go back to school. I want to get my master's. And so she had started going back to SMU, taking it online. And then they were even like, hey, why don't you go back to school yourself, Zach, and get something in the construction, like get your master's in construction, because the company is a construction company. Okay.
Gotcha.
So there was that, you know, half and half going on, right?
Hmm.
Where you're privileged, a lot of money, but then it was like, hey, you still have to work your ass off,
Yeah.
right? And so let's just fast forward months, right? We before the wedding, okay? Because I'll tell you about the wedding, man. I It was big. It was a big wedding.
Gotcha.
Okay.
And it was in Dallas.
Yeah, it was North Dallas in a
Gotcha.
city called Little Elm. This awesome venue. It looks like a Renaissance, like a freaking French mansion.
Huh. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. Um, Six-figure wedding. Okay. Yeah.
My
Yeah.
goodness. Okay.
Yeah. And that's all. I mean, you name it. The flowers, the videography, the photography, DJ, the food, how everything was decked. I mean, dude, it was like. I mean, I'll be honest. It was fun.
Yeah.
It was one of the funnest nights. I mean, you're getting married, right? And you think, wow, I'm marrying this beautiful woman, this girl, and
Hmm.
we're on our way. We have all this support. We have all these two families coming together,
Hmm.
right? Getting along, right? Nobody would ever tell me like my mom. I love my mom to death, right? She's provided so much sage wisdom post divorce through this whole thing, and
Yeah.
she'll even say, she's like, "Hey Zach, if anybody would have walked up to you an hour before your wedding and said, 'Hey, she's going to cheat on you in exactly 1 year,'
Hmm.
you better not say yes." I would have been like, "Who the hell are you? Get the heck out of here!" Right?
Yep.
So, I I was I was immersed. Okay, and I say it all the time. It's hard for me to say no,
Hmm.
right? Because but then it's not like I was just so naive or so blind. It was just like, this is how some people live.
Hmm.
And I've never been around that.
Yeah.
So it's like, how do I navigate this new terrain? And how do I really show that I love this girl?
Hmm.
Right? Because she says, "Oh, Zach, you came from this kind of background. You're not just strong, you're not just tall, right? Whatever girls want to say." But on a deeper level, she's like, you make me feel safe. You make me
Hmm.
feel secure. I know that I don't have to question my feminine side.
Hmm.
But then it started to get to that point where she's like, she in some way, right, when things started happening, was like, she always had to be in control. And
Hmm.
it was like, I would want to lead, but it would be like there would always be some kind of conflict.
Hmm.
And
I
I'd be
see.
like, you tell me you want me to lead, you want me to pick the places, you want me to plan dates, you
Hmm.
want me to do all this, but then you won't listen to me,
I
right?
see. So you're in
So
this interesting dynamic where her
yeah,
family's kind of providing all this type of stuff,
lots of
where
pressure.
where at the same time you're trying to like fall into your masculine, but it's not really working because up until this point, her family's provided a lot of the lifestyle which she needs. Like if
Yeah,
you were to take that away from her, like she'd be screwed. So she's almost more of like subservient to her parents than she
Oh
is
yeah.
to you,
Oh yeah.
and so now you're starting to be like, hey, I need to work hard, I need to have dignity, I need to be a man, I need to start being a leader. What were some of the ways that you started to notice, okay, she's trying to be more controlling, she's trying to, kind of undermine my authority?
It anytime that she really wanted something, it was she would go to her grandma or her
Hmm.
mother always.
Hmm.
It was like, why didn't you talk to me about that? Or
Hmm.
it'd be like right after, it'd be like, we should have talked about that before,
Hmm.
right? But to tell you the truth, what when it really started to come to light, right? But it wasn't even like that control piece. It was control, right? It was manipulation, but it wasn't until it was the beginning of this year. Okay. It was
Hmm.
right before I found out, and I'll get to there. There's so many different details
Yeah,
about what I
no,
found out.
continue.
It is crazy. So one of the I guess you could say big pieces, right, that happened. I had brought up how the family business went to bankruptcy. It was
Hmm.
last August. Okay. Since we're all working there, it was scary. Going through bankruptcy is no joke. Anybody that's been through a bankruptcy, it doesn't matter if it's a chapter seven. Chapter seven is personal, right? That's
Yeah.
that's awful. It's hard to recover from. But a business, I guess, it's a chapter 11, right? At least here in Texas. But you can recover from it,
Yeah.
right? But you have to you got to sell assets. You got to get rid of a lot of stuff. You got to downsize payroll. So we're all tied to this boat, this
Yeah.
business, right?
Interesting.
And that's
Hmm.
been that's been the family's lifeline for years.
Hmm.
That's where all the money comes from, right? And suddenly that piece, that anchor is being taken away.
Hmm.
You'd best believe that people, and I saw it. I saw behavior from her mom, from her stepdad, from everybody that I'm like, wow, money really turns people into vicious animals, right?
Interesting. Okay.
Even the lack of money.
Hmm.
Okay, so they file. Mom, I mean, we're all in the same room to file for bankruptcy. Okay, and we're thinking, oh, this is it. And during this time, it was realistically from August, so September, November, December, and like early January, I went and got a second job, right?
Gotcha. Okay.
So that was all our idea was like, okay, so I would work there during the day and then I went to the airport and work nights.
Hmm.
Okay. And that was I can say that was my idea. It was like, hey, how are we gonna keep paying for this mortgage, for our cars, our phone bill, and all of that stuff,
Yeah.
right? And then also be able to still afford that lifestyle. Let's keep
Hmm.
going on vacation, right? And we're not even married for a year yet,
Hmm.
right? So everyone's kind of in panic mode, and I'm trying to be like, hey, like with my wife late at night where she's very, very emotional, she's scared to death. I'm like, honey, you married the right man. If
Yeah.
you didn't know who I was on May 17th, like you're gonna find out for the rest of your life, especially in times like this.
Wow. Yeah.
And I said, I will do whatever it takes. So what sacrifices, right? The sacrifices, this is where it ate me up. In some ways, it still eats me up to this day.
Hmm.
Is that what I was doing to provide for her,
Hmm.
that she just did not care about the sacrifices I was making
Hmm.
because of what she was doing while I was working nights, while I wasn't around as much. Okay. But I didn't know about this stuff until February, right? A
Wow.
couple
Okay.
months later.
So a couple months after you had started working nights, you'd started to put all this extra effort into maintaining the lifestyle. You're trying to keep everything afloat. How many hours are you working a week?
Oh man. So the standard, so 40 at the family company, and then about 5, 6, so 90, 80, 90.
Oh
And this
my
was going on.
gosh.
It was Monday, Tuesday. No, no, no. I would say about it was 80. Yeah.
Wow. 80
And so,
hours
and
of
she was going back. She was going back to school, and I was helping pay for that as well. And
uh-huh.
then eventually she got loans for it.
And
Because she was
so
kind of in
all
it.
money
Yeah.
from the family pretty much stopped coming in, like
It
period.
was just, in fact, there were, and this, as much as I like want to, I don't want to say like talk down on her family.
Hmm.
There were sides of her family that I'm like, that was the right thing to do. And one
Yeah.
of those was when we were trying to make payroll, both of us, my ex and I, we would literally, and the mom and
Hmm.
some of the other family, we'd literally be like, here, no, like we're not going to take a paycheck. Give it to one of the technicians.
I see. Yeah.
So there was a lot of that. Um, but behind the scenes, man, it was that, something. I don't know if that was exactly the trigger point for her,
Hmm.
where she was like, I don't know if I want to live this kind of lifestyle because it's about to be taken away, right? The
Yeah.
money and all this. But then she also wasn't giving me a chance as the man of the house to prove that I
Hmm.
could make good money, that I
Yeah.
would make the sacrifices,
Yeah.
right? So she was like, I'm in this, my lifestyle's in jeopardy. I have to live a certain way, right?
Hmm.
So it was like, there were moments where her indifference, I I thought it was just like, oh, maybe it's that time of month, right?
Hmm.
But looking back, it was like Christmas time, and then January. It was just like I couldn't really, I couldn't really like get to her.
Hmm.
And then what do you
Okay.
know? The sex started to stop,
Hmm.
right? And you think, like the stereotypical, if a girl's withholding sex, it means she's giving it to someone else, right? Well, I'm
Hmm.
like, there's been no way, there's been no like shred of a hint that she's been talking to anybody else. In
Hmm.
fact, I mean, we shared each other's location. It wasn't just with me, it was with her mom, it was with her grandma, right?
Hmm.
So it wasn't like she could just sneak off.
Yeah. So she was sharing her location with you
Yeah,
and with her entire family.
yeah. So, and that was just like, that was just kind of what you did, right?
Hmm.
You trust each other, and you have no reason to destroy that trust, right?
Hmm.
So let's start with the beginning of this year. Okay. And I actually had, during that time when I was working the two jobs, right? I was interviewing to other construction companies and places, right? And the job I'm at now, um, which is heavy mechanical equipment sales. So, like your air conditioning, your
Yeah.
control systems, fire suppression, security.
Hmm.
And I have some pretty big clients that I've been able to. A lot of this job, I will say, has been the greatest silver lining in this whole
Hmm.
fiasco. Okay, it's kept me alive. It's kept me sane. It's kept me busy. Um,
That's great to
it's
hear.
been a yeah, it's been a
And you
tremendous
and you
blessing.
got that towards the beginning of the year, like while this
Yep, I
was
got
still
that
going
in.
on, because you
Yep,
were
I got it in.
working 80 hours a week at the airport, and trying to do the family business at the same time, and
Yeah,
then you went out and got this job.
yeah. So
Okay.
I would say about late January, I stopped working the second job because I got this one, but
Gotcha.
I didn't start officially working for this new company until like February 25th,
Gotcha.
like
Okay.
late February. Um, and that's when I'm telling you right now, that's when everything hit the fan. April 1st to April, realistically, till May 17th is when everything just started to come to light.
Hmm.
Okay. So, man, it's crazy. So I got this new job, and I was making more money, and it's sales, it's commission based as well, right?
Yeah.
Depending on how hard I work, the more money
Hmm.
I make, right?
Yeah. That
But
now
it's
you
the
can
it
finally step into your role as a provider.
yes,
It's one of the
yes,
best things you can do at that point. It's
yeah,
like, hey, the more I put in, the more I get out.
yeah. And this was something that, I we were, when we'd be laying in bed or we'd be eating dinner because we always ate. We She loved to cook. We'd eat
Hmm.
meals at home,
Hmm.
and that was just her thing. Was like, get out of the kitchen, let me cook. And be like, okay,
That's great.
right, yeah, right.
Wow.
And all of these. So she had these for up until that point. She wanted to be my wife.
Yeah, she
She
wasn't she
wanted to.
wasn't this boss bitch like
No.
I want to be the
Yes.
head of the household. I want to wear the
Yeah.
pants in the family. I want to make the money. Like this it
Yes.
doesn't sound like she was a modern woman. Like she had these
No.
really traditional themes.
Yep. Oh, but wait, it comes out. Oh, it came out, man. It came out in just very vicious,
Mm,
vicious ways. So I, oh man. So, okay. The first occurrence of the cheating was the emotional side, right?
mhm.
One of her, one of her best friends is a bottle service girl.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Classic.
Classic, right? Who she had never really liked before up until this time. Okay.
Okay.
Because of the lifestyle that she lived. In
Okay.
fact, there's a lot of infidelity going on with that relationship. I won't go into detail.
Gotcha.
Okay. She started to say, hey, what if I go work as a bottle service girl on the weekends? And I said,
Mm,
no. I said, absolutely not. I said,
interesting.
I'm not
Okay.
comfortable. I'm not comfortable with you going and dressing that way because I know how men work.
Yeah.
I know. I'm like I've been in those. We had gone together. That was the whole thing. Is you go to places together. You go to
Hmm.
bars. You go to clubs together.
Hmm.
But I would never. I'd be like, you're not going by yourself,
Hmm.
right? Even with all your girlfriends, right? Unless I'm dropping you off. Like
Hmm.
so, I'll get to some details where she started to accuse me of being controlling and all these things, and it's
Mm,
just like these are things like she would even say to me, she would never let me go to a bar by myself,
yeah.
but she could by herself. So we would get into these arguments, right? And she's like, "But I can make like 2, 3 grand a weekend or
Hmm.
whatever." I'm like, "But at the cost of what?" Right? You're going and you're allowing yourself to be kind of paraded around to guys that only see you as a piece of meat, as an
Hmm.
object, right? And you're okay with that. But it was like, you're not respecting my decision as your husband, right? These boundaries that you would never accept. You would never tolerate me doing anything like that,
Hmm.
right? So we get into these arguments. So before I really get into the nitty gritty, one of the details you need to understand is the the dynamic that she has with her mother.
Gotcha.
So let me talk about her mom for a minute. Her mother has been divorced 4 times.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. Um, yeah, there's a lot of baggage there.
I see.
Okay. And they, despite her mom's issues, I'm not
Hmm.
going to go into it. My ex has never had a stable dad.
Hmm.
In fact, she's had multiple father-like
Father figures.
figures
Mm.
come and go. And what did that
Hmm.
teach her? What did that teach her? Well, that's what ended up happening is that she believed that a husband is replaceable. That
Hmm.
commitment is something that isn't as important as she thought
Hmm.
because what is she saw that from her mom.
I
Okay,
see. Gotcha.
so that's a pretty important detail. I just I needed to add before I dive into this because it explains
Hmm.
why she started to behave. Right, it may not be the cause, but it's a pretty big factor.
Yeah.
Right, of learned behavior. They fall back to what their system is. Okay, and so we were getting in these arguments, these differences. Okay, and she would leave and turn her location off.
Hmm.
And then at the same time, she would get in these massive arguments with her mother, okay? And which they had all the time, by the way,
Yeah.
all the time. So, and then she would come to me, my ex would come to me and be like, mom did this, and she would just vomit about everything that was going on.
Yeah.
So I knew everything. I knew everything about that relationship, her mom and her stepdad, like
I see.
everything.
Okay.
And it's not healthy
Hmm.
at all. Okay. So she would leave and be like, I'm gonna go meet with my SMU classmates. I knew who all of them were, so I was like, okay, fine.
Hmm.
But I was like, why are you taking your location off? Because she'd be like, I'm mad, I'm upset. You pissed me off.
Hmm.
And I'd be like, I would never do that if you made me angry, because I'm not gonna give you a reason to think I'm not gonna be trusting, right? It just
Controlling.
started controlling. Yep. So she started to go out with her friend that was a bottle service girl,
Hmm.
go to these clubs in Dallas, right? I won't name them. Everybody knows what they are: Sporting Club, Greenlight, whatever.
And she wasn't working there. She would just go out.
No, she wasn't working there. Okay. She would just go out with her friends.
Hmm.
Okay. But then it was like, she would be like, I don't want you to go with me. I want to just go with my friends.
Hmm.
I'm like, don't you see how this looks? Right? What are you going for? She's like, I'll be back at this time tonight. Like, you know, and then there'd be times when she wouldn't come back until the next day.
Hmm.
So I knew something was aloof, something was going on.
Hmm.
Okay. But
And was your guys' relationship at this point like getting pretty rocky? Like you said, the sex had stopped, like, or at
yeah,
least it had become a
yeah,
lot
it
less
was,
frequent. Like you felt like there was a wall between you and her that was
it was
continuing to get
actually,
bigger.
it was kind of weird, man. It was like, it was, it was like, I want to say it was rocky. And then she and um, we went to this concert together. We used to go to concerts all the time, man.
Hmm.
And we went to this concert together, and we both had some drinks and came back. And when we came back, like most, I'll just be truthful. Most of our sex was kind of vanilla,
Yeah.
okay. But that night when we came back from the concert, dude, we were all over the place.
Hmm.
I mean, all over the place.
Yeah.
And
So
I
you
was like,
almost had these points of reassurance
yeah,
where you're like,
yeah,
everything's okay, I guess.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And like I was like, I started to open up more in that regard sexually with her, where
Hmm.
I would take control, right?
Yeah.
More. But before it was like what she really wanted.
Hmm.
But now we were kind of tapping into that side.
Hmm.
And then it was like after that it was like it was a chore.
Hmm.
Where she's like, I'm not really feeling it, but because you're my husband, like we can do it. And be like, that's not how I don't want to do it if that's how you feel.
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, I get that.
So Um, all right. So the first real occurrence of the cheating, right, was she had gone out, right, and she would have her phone connected to her Apple Watch and her
Hmm.
iPad,
Hmm.
okay, and she would just leave those, right. And I remember I was actually she had her iPad sitting on the couch, right, but it
Hmm.
was closed, but you could see where the light was coming through the
Hmm.
crevices, and it kept going off. And she's out with her friends. I'll tell you who she's really with, but
Hmm.
she's out, right? And I'm like, okay, why does this keep going off, right? So I open it and I see these messages off the bat, and I don't recognize this guy's name,
Hmm.
and I was like, whoa. So I opened,
Hmm.
right? I opened her iPad because I knew her password, and I go to the messages, and I'm like, she's been talking to this guy from Oklahoma for the last couple weeks.
Hmm.
And let me just say, he's just a guy that looks nothing like me.
Yeah.
Okay. Opposite skin color, just saying
Hmm.
that. Okay. Just somebody that I would never expect her to even be flirting with. sending
Interesting.
pictures. He's sending pictures, nothing nude, but like
Mhm.
pictures that have taken of her,
Hmm.
right? And like they're flirting, and then he's like, "Are you still with that guy?" And she's like, "Yes," but like with the "oh, I guess I am"
Yeah.
type of mirth, right? And then
Huh.
he'd be like, "When can I come down there and basically do things with you?" And she's like, "Well, whenever my husband's not home, I'll have to let you know."
Wow.
And I was
Hmm.
like, I'm reading this. Oh, dude, I was shaking. I was so angry.
Hmm.
I like I was standing, not standing. I was leaning on the counter or kitchen, right? And have her number up, and I'm like literally telling myself, you got to calm down. You got to calm down, right? But I FaceTime her. Okay, I FaceTime her, and I just literally I'm showing the conversations on FaceTime, and I said, "Who is this guy?"
Hmm.
She is just in deflection mode, bro. Straight, why are you going through my iPad?
Hmm.
And I was like, who is this? Are you with him right now? I was like, you need to come home right now and have this conversation, or I'm out of here. Right. Well, she's straight up, dude, deflecting, was like, I'm not going to talk to you. I'm not going to come home until the next day. And I was just like, I was so like, what are you like? Are you kidding me? Right. So she doesn't come home until like 11 the next day,
Hmm.
right? And I'm texting her, I'm calling her, and then she just would like literally block my number.
Hmm.
She's like, if you keep calling me, you're embarrassing me in front of my friends, all of these things. And I'm like, is that what you care more about as your friends than the relationship with your husband?
Hmm.
Where he's seeing you emotionally micro, it's still
Hmm.
cheating on him. And then she comes back, and it just turned into this whole, she didn't want to delete or block his number, until I literally sat her down, and I said, if like, gave her an ultimatum basically. And then she showed me that she blocked and deleted it and was like, I'm done, whatever.
Hmm.
But it was,
Yeah, that's got to be kind of a culture shock moment.
yeah. But look, that's not even the worst part.
Okay.
Just wait. Oh man, it gets good right here. I say it gets good. It gets really juicy, and it's not pleasant, man.
Yeah,
It's
this
not.
is a roller coaster.
So she's already acting weird, and I'm acting weird because I'm just like, I can't trust you.
Hmm.
And then she starts to remove our wedding pictures off her Instagram because she's like, I'm upset at you. And I'm like, that's that's not what you do when you're upset with somebody. If I was mad at you for just some random occurrence, I wouldn't go to my Instagram and say, I'm no longer married.
Hmm.
Hello. So she started to do that, and then eventually she blocks me on her Instagram. Okay.
Wow. Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so this is all happening in the span of like over the next 2 weeks.
Couple weeks. So
Okay.
I found out about that guy she'd been texting, and then 2 weeks after that is when I found out about the actual man she was sleeping with. Okay.
Gotcha.
Not even the same guy.
Hmm.
Okay. Uh, as far as I know, there was one man she was sleeping with, but she was texting a dozen plus different guys. Okay. I found all of this. I have so much evidence of what she was doing. It's not even funny.
Hmm.
Okay. So leading up to me actually finding out about this other guy, okay, she has me blocked. She's leaving on the weekends. She doesn't want to go out on many dates anymore. She thinks I'm being controlling, that I'm being manipulative. But then also, this in the same vein, she's like, I want to make this work. I love you. Um, but it was wishy-washy. Okay.
Hmm.
So big detail in this story right now is she and her relationship with her mom at this time was bad. It
Hmm.
was bad. They were not on speaking terms.
Hmm.
Okay. She was still, excuse me, she was still working for her mom. Okay. And we had a trip to go to Vegas together. Well, what do you know? She says, I don't want you to go with me. I'm going to go with my friend, the bottle service girl. And
Hmm.
I'm like, babe, what? Like, come on. Like, we've been planning this. Like, don't you know what this looks like? Okay. And it's just this, you have to trust me, and it's like, so I'm left in the dark with her. Okay. So she goes on this trip and she's supposed to go for 3 days, but she stays for 5. And she comes back 2 days late, right? Like I said, she and her mom are not on speaking terms. Well, her mom is furious and fires her. Okay.
Wow.
So, and I remember picking her up from the airport, and she is actually insulted that I was waiting at the airport to pick her up.
Hmm.
She's like, I didn't want you to pick me up. I was like, well, you told me your flight details. You said when you were going to land. I'm your husband. Of course, I'm going to do the right thing and be waiting for you. And I was there with our dog and all these things that she loved. It's just, and we got in this another one of those arguments on the way
Hmm.
back where she just wanted to go and be this bottle service girl. And I was
Wow.
like,
Huh.
we don't, I'm already making more money. I'm already doing what we both had agreed on. You wanted me to go get a new job. I'm making more money for us. Why do you need to go and do that? You don't have to. Why won't you respect that I don't want my wife dressing a certain way and appealing to guys that are just trying to use, and it's just,
Hmm.
she's in. So getting this big argument, right? And it's just this back and forth of like, I'm like, are you wanting to make this work? And she's like, yeah, I do, but then this, then that. And it's like, you can't have one foot in the door and one foot out, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I started during this process, and I'll be honest, I started being more like aggressive, frustrated, angry,
Yeah.
because it was like I was so out of control.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that I was trying to control everything, but you know what I mean, is just that I
100%.
am
Yeah.
I am trying to do everything right. Why won't you trust me? Why are you hiding from me? Okay. So she has this this awful argument with her mom, right? Gets fired, and they're not on speaking terms. So her mother comes to me to speak to her daughter.
Hmm.
Okay. Oh, I'm caught in between this freaking web, man, of between both of them. She's like, you tell her this, you tell her that. And it's just like, and I'm trying to hold it together. I'm trying to
Hmm.
be like, I'm trying to fix my marriage, right? But I want to help the relationship that they have together.
Yeah.
But one, her mom was being vicious, saying certain things about her, and then vice versa. And it was just
Yeah.
like,
That's
oh my gosh,
terrible.
like,
Not fun to
yeah,
be the messenger.
yeah. And then her stepdad is he's a cuck, man. He didn't have a job throughout the whole bankruptcy. He was just living off. He's not even. He's a pretender,
Hmm.
right? I won't even bring him up. He would just side on the person that had the money, and it was just the mom.
Yeah.
Didn't have any balls, man. It's just one of those guys that I just had always had a hard time respecting. Okay,
Hmm.
so oh man, so this is what happened, right? She had removed her location from me, from her mom, and from her grandmother, right? And they both were so awful to her grandmother. It's really, really sad. Okay. And her grandfather and her grandmother are actually the ones that started the company and gave it to their daughter, my ex's mom. Okay.
Hmm.
So you got that chain of command or whatever.
Gotcha.
And so I'm really close to everybody. Right.
Hmm.
And that's where I would open up to her mom about what I was going through. Right. And her mom would be like, well, have you tried this? Have you tried that? But then I started to be like, I need to dial back. I can't be calling her mom and saying this and saying that. It's like it's my marriage.
Hmm.
But then I couldn't stop her mom from intruding all the time. Okay. So you have this going on where my ex is still going out. I don't know what she's doing. She won't
Mhm.
communicate. She's angry with me. I'm controlling, you know, the spiel. And on the other side, her mom is like, we gotta get to the bottom of this. Okay. Well, this was her mother's idea. Okay. Her mom's like, I'm gonna put a tracker in her car. I'm like,
Wow.
I'm like, I don't really agree with that, but I want to find out. I want to know what's
Uh-huh.
going on. So I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Right? I can't say no because she's like, this is my daughter. This is my daughter, and this is the controlling behavior that really came out. So she has somebody put an extra phone with the location services on
Uh-huh.
in underneath one of the mats in her car, and gives me the location and her mom. All right, so the two of us had it. She and I get into an argument. It was like I want to say this was like a Thursday. This was actually the 27th, April 27th.
Mhm.
Okay, and she's like, I need to leave. I want to leave. I want to go stay at my friend's house, the bottle service girl. And I'm just like, why do you keep doing this?
Mhm.
She's like, because all you want to do is talk about it. Yeah, all I want to do is talk about it because you're not being trustworthy and you're leaving me in
Mhm.
the dark. I love you. I'm trying my hardest here. Throw me a bone. And she just leaves. She's like, I'm packing a little suitcase. I'll be back tomorrow. So she leaves and goes and tells her mom the exact same story. I'm gonna go stay at my friend's house, and because I can't be around Zach, whatever.
Mhm.
And it just made me, man, it just made me feel. I was like, started. I more so later on after I'll tell you what happened is I started to feel so like powerless, but I felt like, am I the bad guy in this?
Hmm.
Which was so not true, right?
Because the behavior doesn't make
Yeah,
sense.
doesn't make
So you
sense.
start questioning your own. What
Yeah.
am I doing wrong here?
Yes. I'm like, wait a sec. Am I supposed to compromise even more than I am?
Yeah.
Is that and
Interesting. Interesting.
so so
Am I controlling? It
yeah,
might
right.
be. This might be my
I'm-
ego. This might be my pride, maybe. Maybe I am being a control
yes.
asshole.
Yes. Maybe I am this. And I was like, whatever they're saying I am. I'm like, dang, no. So she she leaves and I text her. I said, will you please let me know when you make it down to Dallas? Because that's where she said she lived.
Mhm.
All right. Makes sense because she works in Dallas. All right. Well, it's like 11, 12 at night. She leaves. And I'm watching the location on maps or whatever.
Mhm.
And she ends up in this city called the Colony, which is like 45 minutes north of Dallas.
Mhm.
And I'm like, I just gave her another chance to be trustworthy.
Mhm.
And it was like, so I'm sitting there and it's about 3 in the morning. Okay. I get in my car and I'm driving. It's about a 30-minute drive from my house to wherever this house is at.
Mhm.
And I've had some pretty cool spiritual experiences. Um, some that I'll get to later, where it's like a voice telling me to do something.
Hmm. Okay.
And the only voice that kept coming to my head was like, Barry, you gotta turn around. Don't go to this house. Turn
Hmm.
around.
Interesting. Okay.
So I did. I turned around, I went home, and it's like 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, and I'm doing like all this research, dude. I'm trying to find out who this guy is, because where other house would she be at?
Yeah.
Right. So I'm doing all this research and I can't find anything, right? And I'm up all night, and I sent a message. I even had texted her before. I didn't. She had no idea that I knew where she was. Okay,
Mhm.
but I had texted her. I said, I thought you were going to let me know when you made it there. And she's like, oh, I'm sorry. It took me a minute to pull my suitcase inside. I was like, okay, sure. Like, I know you're not in Dallas, but I didn't say anything. I held my
Yeah.
tongue. Okay. So I shoot her mom a text message and I said, hey, um, your daughter, my ex, she is not doing what she said she was doing.
Mhm.
And so the next morning, her mom calls me and was like, "Hey, we're gonna figure this out." She's like, "Go to your office, um, work for a few hours, and then come to my office, and we'll sit with a grandma and we'll figure out what to do." And I'm like, "Okay," but I'm like, I'm literally like, I'm so numb because I'm like, okay, it's like the writing is on the wall,
Mhm.
and I finally see it. My wife is cheating on me.
Yeah.
Like she's been lying for the last 3 weeks about where she's been. She's cheating on me.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm numb. I go to my office and um in the span, okay, this is another detail just to keep in mind that I'll explain later. Her mom like found out, I don't know what she used, okay, or she used anything. This is the whole point. She
Yeah.
found out exactly who he was, what he
Mm.
did, what sports he played, where he's from, kind of car he like all of this stuff. Okay.
Mm.
I go to my office, I tell my boss, "Hey, I just found out my wife's been cheating on me." He says, "Say no more, take the week off, go figure it out." I'm like, "Okay." I am driving to her mom's company, okay,
Mhm.
which is another 20 minutes down the road. My ex, it's about 8:30, 9 o'clock. She's blowing up my phone. She's calling me, she's texting me, she's like, "You always text me when you get to work. Why didn't you text me today?" And
Wow.
she is just leaving this guy's house. Okay. I am driving to the office and I finally did. I answer the phone and she's like, "Zach, what is your problem? What's your deal?" Okay. Am I allowed to say his name? Can I say his name?
His name? That's up to
Yeah.
you. That's your
All right.
call.
His name's Tristan. Okay.
Okay.
So I found out all this info from her mom. I found out what his name was, right? And she's like, "What's your problem?" And this is what I said. I said, "How was Tristan last night?" And she just quiet, flatlined on the phone. And I hung up. And I was driving, and she is blowing up my phone, texting me, "Please talk to me. Please, please, please answer the phone." And I'll tell you, I tell everybody, man, I'll tell you, I wish after everything that happened, because it does not, that the rest of the story is what keeps me up at
Mhm.
night because of how blatantly disrespectful um, she was, and other things that I'll get to. But
Mhm.
I wish I would have just gone home and packed my stuff and left.
Mhm. Okay.
That's the exact point of when I tell people, as soon as you find out your spouse is cheating, that as soon as you find out and you have undeniable proof, leave,
Mhm.
because it will never she's not the same person and you won't be the same person either.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. I have not been the same person, and she's never been the same person either. She'll never be the person that I was in love with,
Hmm.
right? So I finally, and I cave, okay, because who am I at the time? I'm trying to be like Jesus, right?
Mhm.
I'm trying to show compassion. I'm trying to show forgiveness. I don't even know what that means at the time.
Mhm.
How do you forgive somebody? But I don't even know what betrayal feels like.
Yeah.
I don't even know what being cheated on really feels like because I'm only just hit the surface,
Yeah.
right? So I answer and she's like, "Can we please, please?" And she's crying. She's like, "Can we please meet?" I'm like, "Fine." So we meet at this old location that we had an office before, and we're in the parking lot. She gets in my car, and I'm just like asking her all these questions, like, "How long you've been seeing him? How many times have you done it? Have you been wearing protection?" And she's like, "Yeah, we've done it this many times. He's always worn a It's just like stuff that you need to hear, but you don't want to hear,
Yeah.
right? And I'm like trying to leave, and she's like grabbing me. She's crying. She's like, "Please don't leave." All this, like,
Hmm.
you know, "I'm so sorry, but not really sorry." Okay. And then it turns into we're sitting there for like 3, 4 hours, and she's like, well, I still have to go get some of my things from his place. And I said, no, I will go get them. I will wait outside and I will wait for him to come out and bring them to me so he can look me in the eye. Right. Well, it turned into this other argument, whatever. I take her over to his place. I already knew where he lived. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I sat out on my truck, leaned up on my truck, watched her go inside, and I said, you have not even 3 minutes to grab your things. Right. I don't want to see the door close. Right. And you come back and we'll go home and we'll be done. Like you'll never see or talk to him ever again. Right. So, and the guy doesn't even come outside. And
Mm-hmm.
I'll explain more about how much of a coward he is later because he starts to, it doesn't end there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. She comes back out, she gets her stuff, and we drive. And I said, you got to block and delete his number on everything. It's not just text, but social media, right? She says she did. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We get home and she's trying to be like who she was before, right? Lovey dovey. I'm sorry. Um, we can make this work. And then she's like, let's go to dinner to our favorite place. So we go to dinner to her favorite place. But I'm like that 1,000 yard stare, you
Yeah.
know, but it's all over me. I'm just like, it hasn't really clicked
Yeah.
exactly, right? You've heard the bad news, but then like,
Mm-hmm.
you're like, wait, she's actually been doing this.
Yeah. And I understand that because it doesn't, it takes a while for the veil to come off for you to be
Yeah.
able to see who they truly are because it's not just like this snap and then, oh, I understand exactly how everything's going. Like you have history with this person, you have all these
Yeah.
previous experiences with this person, you have beliefs about who they are and
Yeah.
who you guys are together. And that's what I realize, even filming this or even talking about my previous relationship experiences is when you tell people, they're just like, well, why didn't you do this at that point? Like when you saw this happen, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? Why, like, you should have known that, blah, blah, blah. It's, it's impossible to understand just like the level of emotions that are wrapped up, the level of experiences and the level of belief and trust that has been violated. It's not like this clean break where, oh my gosh, like she cheated, everything is severed. Like she's not who I thought
Yeah.
she was. It's like I'm still fully convinced that she's this girl, but I have all of this information that's telling me that she's somebody else and that she's been doing all this type of stuff. Can take years to come to terms with something like that.
Yeah. No, you're exactly right. It's like I said, they're as soon as a woman has touched another man's body, it's over.
Mm-hmm.
She will never be the same person to you ever again. And that's what happened, right? Um, yes, so we go to dinner to our favorite place. And we're sitting there, and of course I'm like, this is what we have to do. I am being compassionate, I'm being
Mm-hmm.
sincere. I'm like, I love you. I hope that you love me and that you realize what you've done, but that you're really wanting to make this work.
Yeah.
So I'm laying all this out, trying my best with what I have, right?
Yeah.
Well, the freaking dude keeps calling her. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, I thought you blocked his number. She's like, well, I thought I did too. I'm like, you thought you did, right? No. And so she's like, I need to go and talk to him. I need to give him closure. I was like, closure? Closure? You need to give him closure. What are we doing here? You got to give,
Oh
you
my
have to give,
God.
yeah, you got to give him closure.
Wow.
So she gets up and I'm just sitting there at this restaurant, right? And I'm like, I cannot believe this is happening.
Hmm.
It's still happening. She comes back 5 minutes later. She's like, it's done. Shows me her phone. His number's blocked. Delete it. Okay. And so, okay, the rest of the story just gets crazy. Okay. We're driving home. she's like, can we listen to our favorite music? We got a couple country songs that we always listen to. Listen to our the song, Dirks Bentley, you know, our wedding song. And we get home and we're sitting on our couch and she's like, can we watch our wedding video? And it's a great wedding video, right?
Hmm.
We're watching it and she's crying. She's grabbing me. She's right here. She's crying. She's like, I'm so sorry. Um, you know, saying all these promises, all these things. And then right as the video's up, she's like, can we watch she wanted to watch, like Suicide Boys?
Hmm.
I think it's the lead singer. He like filmed his wedding, but it made
Okay.
it do a music video.
Interesting.
And she's like, "Can we watch that?" I was like, "Why?" Like, so we watch it, and it's just completely opposite tone of what we just were going through with our wedding video. Very sincere, very quiet, very like, "Oh, that's why you got married. You remember that." But then we just watched this, like, for lack of a better term, it's just like completely opposite garbage music video
Hmm.
of music that she really likes. And I was just, that's a weird thing to do.
Hmm.
And then we go to sleep, right? So this is where oh shoot. This is where it gets crazy, man. So go to bed and it's the same, laying there. Um, she's making promises and I'm telling her assurances. This is what we have to do. We got to go to counseling. I'll look at counseling the next day, you know,
Hmm.
completely naive to what is really going on in her head.
And
Okay.
in your head, has
Oh
it
yeah,
has it even
yeah.
clicked at all of
No,
like, should I leave this girl? Like that thought, it doesn't seem like has even entered your
no,
mind at this point.
no.
And it's under the guise of I should love her like Jesus would love a prostitute. Like
Yeah,
I should be like there's no end to my kindness that I
yeah,
will show this woman my
yeah.
niceness, I should say.
Literally, as a
Hmm.
husband, ye that has no sin, cast the first stone, type thing, right? And I'm
Oh,
like,
that is a hell of a verse, isn't it?
yeah,
I've
yes.
heard that used a lot. There you go. Okay,
So
so continue.
yeah, so I uh, go to sleep, right? And I'm laying there, and then I have my work phone, right?
Hmm.
Sometimes there's emergencies that I have to deal with.
Yeah.
Excuse me, but I my phone's going off, and I'm like reaching over, like this is my phone. I'm reaching over like this,
Yeah.
and I see it's an 817. It's a Fort Worth number. My ex is awake, and she's reaching over, and before I even can like look at it, she's like, "Oh, that's him. That's the guy
So
calling me.
so he's calling you.
He's calling my phone." And I'm like, I thought it was over. Why is he calling
Okay.
my number? She's like, and he keeps calling, he keeps calling, he's texting me things like, I need to speak to you. Oh, and then he's like, I need to speak to her, all this stuff. And it's 3 in the morning, bro. I'm like, what is going on? And then she's like, please let me talk to him. Please let me talk to him. Like, and then like,
Hmm.
and it was just back and forth, back and forth. And then she's like, I'm gonna unblock him or get his number back. And I'm like, oh, I'm like, fine. Answer the phone. And he's like, hey, can I talk to Zach? I was like, yeah, this is him. What do you have to say? And he's like, dude, I just want to, and he's drunk. He's drunk.
Huh.
Okay. And he's like, I really like her. And he's saying her name.
Hmm.
And is like, and she and I, we shared some moments together. And he started going off as like, dude, I lost my shit. I
Hmm.
said, I'd never want you to step closer to my wife ever again.
Hmm.
And before I could even finish, he started talking mad shit to me,
Hmm.
like all kinds of stuff. And then, so my ex, is listening, and she's laughing with him at me on the phone. So he would say things and she would start chuckling and walk away with the phone. I'd be like, are you freaking serious? And then he would go, I'm a homewrecker. I fucked up your marriage, bro. I slept with your wife. And she would laugh. She would laugh at me when I was trying to defend myself. When I would be like, and I would leave, I would walk out. I'd be like, I'm packing my stuff, I'm leaving. And it just kept going on and on. And I'm like, that's something you want, like you want to be with this man? Go be with him then. Go be with the man that is proud to be sleeping with another man's wife. Because that means he's got no God in him. And she just thought it was the funniest thing. And then it's like, you're taking this way too serious. And I just could not believe. I was like, this is not who I married. I did not expect that 4 days before our 1 year anniversary that I would be in this altercation with a man that is proud to be this type of guy. And then my wife is defending him on the phone when I'm trying to hang the phone up from she's not. It's just
Huh.
so this is what
Wow.
happens. Yeah. So and I got emotional. I got crazy emotional because I was just like, I have never been through something like this. Right. And this is what she says. She says, I need to go see him right now. I was like, are you kidding me? Okay. It's like 3:30 in the morning. It's pouring rain. Now, my ex, she does not like to drive in general, but you're
Mhm.
telling me she wants to go drive in the pouring rain in the middle of the night. It's about a 35-minute drive.
Mhm.
Well, I try to stop her. I go and literally stand at the front door. Dude, I'm a little taller than 6'4", 235 pounds. She's 5'4", 120 pounds.
Wow.
I could easily stop her, but I didn't. I couldn't stop her. I was begging her. I begged her, bro. I begged her. I said, please, you have a chance right now to be different, to make a difference. And I brought up things with her mother, what she's gone through. I was like, you have a chance right here. You know I'm a good man. Don't throw this away. She's like, I have to go talk to him. I have to go. It was just like, and she's like, I'm going to give you my location. I'm like, I already know where he lives. Like, so she leaves. She leaves. And I'm up. I'm literally up all night. I'm looking at her location and just like, I could not believe I was in this situation, right? She goes and she's there for like 10 minutes and comes back.
Hmm.
And she says, it's done. It's done this time. I gave him what he needed. He was drunk. He just needed to hear it in person. And I was like, no, he didn't.
Hmm.
He didn't need to hear anything. You're not married to him. You're married to me. Right. So go to sleep. I didn't sleep. I didn't sleep for a week, dude. Okay.
Wow.
Um, because I couldn't, whoever she's talking to, I'm always thinking she's texting this guy. Right. So the next day, all right. So I had told you earlier that I had her Apple Watch.
Mhm.
Okay. And I wouldn't turn it on because I was like, I just don't trust her. Right. And she during this, she's still not in speaking terms with her mother. All right. She's just here at home. She takes her classes online. I still have to go to work and come back. Right. She doesn't know I have her Apple Watch.
Mhm.
Right. Well, it syncs to her phone, all the messages. This is what she did. I'm sitting there and I'm going through. Not only do I find she changes his name to Kate in her phone,
Mhm.
completely changed his name to a girl's name. I read the messages. It's exactly what I saw before.
Mhm.
Right. Not only did I see conversations with him, but like I said, multiple guys, like 10 other dudes through text messages saying the same things that she was saying to the other guy I had mentioned. Oh, are you still married? Yes, I'm married still, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I found all this just right there. And then I literally, she's doing a workout on the Peloton, and I said, "Who is Kate?" And she looked at me like, oh, she was like, oh. I was like, "Are you serious? Like you're still talking to him after everything that you said to me?" And it just snowballed. Snow kept getting escalated. Right there was a point where we're having this argument, and her mom. I tell her mom all these things, and her mom is just like, well, let me talk to her, and is like gets on speakerphone and is screaming at her, and they're screaming at each other. And then my ex has her best friend on the phone in the background, and then what does her best friend do? Her best friend calls the police. Okay. But
Wow.
we both didn't know that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we both didn't know that. Okay. And this is a detail, right? I have never laid hands on my wife,
Hmm.
ever, but she's laid her hands on me.
So she's hit you before?
she
Thrown
so
things?
she's thrown things slightly, just like not like anything heavy or
Hmm.
lethal. But when I was so tired of her talking to that guy, I grabbed her phone out of her hand and I was like raising it up above her.
Yeah.
She like clawed and scratched me trying to get her phone. Could not believe. I was
Uh-huh.
so like, what?
Hmm.
Like, look at yourself. And I gave her phone back and I said, I cannot believe you just did that. I had scratches all over my neck, my chest.
Mm.
That was just a few hours, okay, when the police arrived.
Hmm.
But we both didn't know it. We
Mm.
had no idea. I said, why are the police at our door? What? And she's like, I have no idea. And then she saw text messages with her friend that she had called them because she was worried that her mom would show up and hurt her. I was like, what?
Mm.
Right? So I look at I look at her and I said, what happens in the next 10 minutes can alter the trajectory of my life. I hope you know that. Doesn't matter if I didn't do anything. They will look at me with scratches on my. So I went and put on a long sleeve shirt, like a hoodie,
Yeah.
okay? And they were like, we need to interview each of y'all one by one till we get the story, okay? And sh- thank the Lord, right? I was not arrested.
Hmm.
My ex did not throw me under the bus.
Okay.
Okay. She knew better. Okay. We just said that because they're like somebody complained that there was loud arguments going on or whatever. And no, it was just something, an altercation with her mom, and we sorted it out. Right. Well, then they were like, well, we still need you to leave the house for the night. And so I was like, I can do that. And what, no matter, whatever whatever goes, officer, right? I'm just trying to comply.
Yeah.
Okay. And but I ended up staying because they just left. Right.
Yeah.
They usually wait to see if you leave, but I stayed.
Hmm.
And I told my ex, I said, I'm like, how many different things does it need to hit you to realize what you're doing? Not just to our marriage, but to me.
Hmm.
Right. And it was just so I would say the worst part hadn't happened yet. The
Hmm.
worst part is what involves her family. Okay. So a couple weeks go by and it started to turn into she was blatantly going to see this guy in my face.
Hmm.
Right.
Okay. Wow. And
He was
and
just
you were still kind of like I'm interested, like when did the thought enter your mind like okay, like I just need to leave. Was that anywhere along these weeks,
oh
right?
it's yeah, it's when so um she and her mom started to talk again.
Hmm.
Okay. And then she'd be like, I don't want to stay at the house. I'm gonna go stay at my parents' house. Just she go stay at them. And I'm like, that's okay if that's what you want to do. Okay. And then it turned into she would come back and it's like, no, I need to make this work with Zach. And then they would get into kind of arguments. But then it was kind of weird because then her mom and her stepdad would say things like, well, if Zach's not like, he doesn't keep you safe over there, then you don't need to be staying there. And I'm like, I have not done anything to make her not safe. So I was like,
Yeah.
why are they saying those things? Well, during this time when she would just leave and it was in my face, I knew where she was going, out with her
Hmm.
friends, and he would be there. I knew it all. Okay.
Hmm.
I would go to her mom and her stepdad, and I would be like, I don't know what to do, guys. And I would just get emotional. I'd be crying. I'd be
Yeah.
like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Can you guys help me with this? Right. And I did that. I did that for the span of, man, it was probably a span of a month where I'm
Wow.
trying to get help from them.
Wow.
And then this is what happened, right? I'm in this argument with my ex, another argument, what do you know?
Hmm.
And we're already talking about divorce. But I'm like, if you want to make this work, I hope you do this. But if you don't, then I will go and
Okay.
do it. I will start it, right? Because she's never going to.
Yeah.
She never was going to go get the paperwork. She was never going to initiate it.
Yeah.
Right. What, to answer your question, what finally clicked when I found out from the very beginning, her mom, her stepdad, stepbrothers, they knew about this other guy the entire time.
Wow. And how long had it been happening for?
2 months.
Wow. Okay, so did that trace back to when you were working like 80-hour weeks?
I think she was texting him around that time.
Gotcha.
But that's how, remember how I said, remember the detail, how her mom was able to find out who this guy was like that?
Yeah,
That's how she already knew.
she already
She knew
knew.
everything about this guy. And she
Wow.
was just manipulating me and using me in some twisted method. I don't know what it
Because
was.
her and her daughter were angry at each other, right? Like that anger was
Yeah.
real. And
Yeah.
so she
And then
almost used you to like kind of tell you what was going on, but
yeah,
not really for your own benefit, probably more for her own.
yeah.
Really weird
It's
situation.
controlling, extremely
Hmm.
controlling, psychotic, if you will, behavior, narcissistic manipulation, all of the above. And I just right then I knew I have to get away. I got to get out of
Hmm.
this. I I I got to fight those feelings that I have of love for these people, but it was the betrayal. Man, the betrayal that hurt, dude.
Yeah.
That literally made me lay on the kitchen floor for a while
Yeah.
because I saw text messages that just proved it
Well, especially
from
after you've been so vulnerable with those people.
yeah.
That's the
I
biggest thing is like you're like the people whose arms that I ran into when I
yep.
was hurting, they
Yeah.
turned out they were
Yeah.
plotting my own downfall the entire time.
Yeah. And
Hmm.
so back to the beginning when you asked me when I started really posting, that's when. Because I
I see.
said, you know what? I am not going to allow myself to be villainized. And
Huh.
I was villainized by her and her
Huh.
mom. I was. I found out her mom was telling people from work and her friends that I was being the controlling, manipulative, emotionally abusive to her daughter. And I just was like, no.
They're setting it up. They're setting the
Yes.
frame for the
Yes.
leave because they can't
Yes.
like you can't just leave. Like she
No.
needs to keep you around long enough in order to frame you as the bad guy
Yep.
because she can't frame you as a bad guy if you're gone.
Yeah. So she knew that I was still here, that I was home. I was doing the right thing, that I was doing the right thing, right? But I shared, I've taken it down because it was on my Instagram before I started really posting. And I just flat out said, my life has changed because I found out my wife has been cheating on me. And
Yeah.
all of our friends, everybody was like, whoa, whoa, that's not what she was saying. Yeah. So
So
her narrative,
social media, you turn to social media almost to defend yourself.
Yes, because
Wow.
I could not, I was not gonna let my name be tarnished for something was not true.
Wow. That is incredible.
Yeah. So I got on, I started making TikToks. Um, I don't name drop her, right? I
Hmm.
never will. Um, but I deactivated my personal Instagram a couple weeks ago. I started that new one, right?
Hmm.
Um, I just wanted a fresh start. I still have it, but I don't use it,
Yeah.
right? But no, I mean, people were messaging me. Were like, wow, I had no idea that this was going on. But the truth of it was it disrupted her narrative, her
Yeah.
agenda. And that ultimately probably why she resents me, dude. She hates
Hmm.
me because of that.
Yeah.
She didn't really hate, she hates because I know who she is.
Yeah.
I
And
know
because
who,
you made her look bad.
yeah,
And every single post that you make makes her look bad. You
yeah.
know,
And
that's
she mhm.
wow.
So she since then, right, I went and filed. Um I literally everything to get that process going, I did, right? Um we actually we have the house together. It's still in her name, but we don't communicate outside of just the transactional money part. That's it.
Yeah. Hmm.
I don't talk to her. Um, Whenever I have, it's been completely disrespectful, awful. Um, in fact, the last time that I've talked to her on the phone was only a couple of weeks ago.
Hmm.
It was about selling the house. The house has been on the market, took it off, and we're put it back on. And she was trying to do something unethical, and I was like, "This is not how we do this." Well, she kept calling me from an unknown number,
Hmm.
right? Well, she now lives in Vegas. Okay. That's where she moved. Okay. I don't know exactly what she does. I think she does bottle service in a casino.
Hmm.
Okay. Who would have thought,
Who would have thought?
right? New life. She can tell any story she wants. She probably tells people that she got cheated on and left an abusive husband. I'm guarantee that's what she's telling people. Already has a new man. Um, It's not even the guy that she was sleeping with. It's none of the guys that she was talking to.
Hmm.
In fact, I had four separate guys, actually three on Instagram and one on TikTok, send me screenshots of messages that she was sending them while we were still married.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it just solidifies that I
So
was in the
did
right.
she post on social media? Was she somebody?
She would just post she would just post herself, right? She
Okay.
would only post herself. She would
And she was
post.
a pretty girl, so
Oh,
she
she's
got
beautiful. She knows it.
attention.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
She knew how to make it. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And was
yeah.
that going on during your marriage? Like, would she?
No,
Okay,
not at
so she
all.
wouldn't post on Instagram and TikTok and kind of
Unless it
try to
was
get
with me.
affirmation from other guys.
Unless it was with me.
Very
She would post with me.
interesting. Hmm.
Yeah. It started coming out and it was like, so we would get into these arguments right before. And one of the couple of the things that she used to say, especially after I found out everything with a betrayal, she's like,
Hmm.
she said, I lost myself trying to be your wife. And that was her justification for everything. And then on top of that, she would say, cheating happens all the time in marriages. And I would be like, that doesn't mean it's okay.
Wow,
Well, why do you think she thought that was okay? Because that's what her
that's
mom does.
I
That's what her
see.
mother does.
Hmm.
So,
Wow.
and
Wow, that is crazy.
the the latest thing was, like I said, when I had to have a conversation with her, was she she had her new man on the phone in the background talking to me about,
Hmm.
and I'm like, I'm not going to talk to you while your new man is in the back. Like, and I would say, like, do you know that she's going to cheat on you like she cheated on me? I'm like, do you even know the story, bro? He has no idea.
Hmm.
She's never going to tell the true story.
Hmm.
That's why, and that's why she ran away. That's why
Yeah.
she left. Right? You
Hmm.
can't. She can't look at me and without seeing her imperfection, everything that she's done wrong.
So your story is so close to like the raw emotion. I'm not sure if I've ever seen content that was that close in proximity to everything that was going down, like the very epicenter. Because even when I saw your content, I just kind of assumed, like, oh, this is a guy, like, he got cheated on a while ago. He's making content about that type of thing. This has all been unfolding like as you've been posting, and
as it's
you've had
happening.
that level of
Yes.
keeping people educated, making content during that time period
Yeah.
where everything is happening in real time. That's
Yeah.
crazy. That's
Yeah.
really, really crazy.
I look, and that's the thing is like people are like, "Oh, you're so cringe," or "You're that," and it's like I don't care. Right?
Yeah.
I I found something that has helped me heal,
Yeah.
but also get my head on right, and really
100%.
really reflect on, dude, you missed a lot of things. You weren't paying
Yeah.
attention. But also, I give myself grace because it's like a lot of us guys, how do you say no to that? How do you say how do you say no to a lot of money, a
Mm-hmm.
beautiful family, a beautiful girl? They're all obsessed with you.
Mm-hmm.
Life is a little bit easier, right? How do you say no to that?
I'm telling you, dude, there are so many guys out there. And in fact, one of my clips from one of my YouTube videos went viral a while back. And it was a clip of me saying, most guys act this way. They say, oh, if she were to ever cheat on me, I would be done with her like this. I would never stand to tolerate that behavior. I would cut it off. Then and there it would be over. She would never see me again. That's not how most guys operate.
No,
As soon
no,
as you're
dude.
in that situation,
You're
that's not you, bro. And everybody in the comment section, oh no, dude,
oh
I
no.
would. I wouldn't let myself be treated that way.
No,
They have no idea. It's
no
like,
idea.
just wait until you meet the woman of your dreams. Wait until you meet a woman that you love, even a woman that you fall in love with at first sight.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Like, it is so difficult to say no to these women. It's
Yes.
so
Yes.
difficult not to give them every single thing that they want. And these
Yep.
guys, they don't understand that yet.
They don't.
Like, they
They don't.
don't. Like, even us, like, we're good looking, like, even successful guys that if we meet a woman, we will be so swayed by beauty. Like, I'll admit it right now. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not sure how
Yeah.
much of my content that you've seen, but I'm a virgin. Like, I believe in waiting until marriage to have sex, and
Yeah.
that's a big part of what I post about. And
Yeah.
even then, like, it is just having a relationship with a woman that you fall in love with, so difficult to leave. It's so difficult to keep your bearings about you. And at the very first sign, like, of that disrespect, of that she's not treating me like a man, she says that she wants me to lead. And then all
Yeah.
of a sudden, I try to lead. I try to be the man. I try to be masculine. I put my foot down, and all of a sudden, it's controlling. And like, as
Right.
soon as that enters the picture, that's when you need to be out. Like, and you need to maintain that frame. All right. So, one of the biggest problems that I see with men in today's society, especially, I would say the good men, like the
Yeah.
good men, the guys who are raised in good homes, which it sounds like you were. We
Mhm.
have these parents like who, we kind of idolize. We're like, wow, their relationship is so good. I want to be like my dad. I want to have a relationship like my mom and my dad. It's almost like we are not equipped to navigate this modern relational dynamic. Like, it's almost
Right.
like we're not equipped with the tools that we need, because I feel like most men, if they're raised in religious contexts, they're told, "Hey, having options is wrong." Like, wanting to
Yeah.
leave her for doing something bad, that's wrong. You shouldn't have like this abundance. You shouldn't even be like talking to multiple girls at once, like among my friend group. Like, that's looked down upon. And I tell my friends, I'm like, guys, I'm like, if you're not dating a woman, like, if you're not official with her, you should be talking to all women. Like, you should be
Yeah.
conversating with every single one. You should have this abundance of options. And yet, that's not something that comes natural to me, but it's something that I've had to train myself to do, because I realize how relationships work and how women work. And that if you don't have that ability to leave the relationship and understand when enough is enough, then you immediately lose the power. Then it becomes a
Right.
game of compromises. You're compromising one thing after another. You're thinking, am I the
Exactly.
controlling person in this relationship? And it just spirals further and further. And you start to gaslight yourself because you want to believe that the relationship can work. Like you want to believe it for yourself. And so not only are other people gaslighting you and manipulating you, but you're manipulating yourself and
Yourself.
telling
Right.
yourself that you've done something wrong, that there's something wrong with you and like what is going on here, and you just can't see through the muck and the bullshit that you're so willing to tolerate so much. Like
Yeah.
it's willing, it can be right in front of you. It can
Right.
be staring you right in the face, and you still can't see it because you're in love with this woman. You have all of this emotional connection. You've developed this image of her that you have in your head that you don't want to taint it. You don't want to taint it. You don't want to harm it. But at the same time, this is how a lot of girls are being raised in today's society is they're very materialistic. Like they're materialistic. They're told that men are expendable. They're told that they are angels, that they're
Right.
daddy's little angel. They
Can't do any harm.
deserve everything. And that they should always be asking themselves, like, hey, is this man good enough for me? Like when in reality, it needs to be the other way around.
Yeah.
In order for
Exactly.
the relationship to thrive, in order for the man to actually be in a position of power, he needs to be the commodity. Like he needs to be the prize. Because if the man isn't the prize, there's no power.
Right.
Like that, the power comes from you having the upper hand in the relationship, the control in the relationship. And so I see that in you, and I understand why all these guys tear you apart. Like because they
Yeah.
listen to your story and they think, "Oh my gosh, this guy's just such a cuck." Like he
Yeah.
sat around for so long, he put up with it way too long. I would have cut it off way sooner. But I mean, it takes something like
That's,
this to figure out like just how
yeah.
much power women have over you, especially when you're somebody that hasn't been trained to
Yeah.
deal with that woman in to be able to see through the BS. Because people
Right.
will even say, "Oh, well, if you don't 100% trust her, if you don't listen to everything that she says, if then she's not the one." And it's like,
Right.
well, no, everything can align. The stars can align. You can think this woman is like the perfect woman, but in reality, it's an image, it's a view that you've created inside of your own head. When in like all you see is that things are perfect. But when in reality, it's scattered. It's
Right.
scattered. But you
Yeah.
believe what you want to believe and you see what you want to see.
Exactly. No, you're exactly right. I just think it's common. It's I don't remove any of the hate comments. I'm going to start using that for
Yeah.
some discourse and things like that because it's like I said earlier, you specifically, man, you have been in the arena.
Mm.
I love that quote, the man in the arena, right? It on a deeper level, right? So many men are just not willing to risk, right? How did this country get started? Men took massive risks,
Mm-hmm.
right? At the cost of their freedom and their life.
Mm-hmm.
They had no idea, the founding fathers, they have an idea what this country would be today. It's not perfect, but where else would you be,
Mm-hmm.
right? On the subject of relationships with guys, when you love somebody truly, you're literally saying, "Here's my heart
Mm-hmm.
to that woman." Oh,
Yeah.
she broke it. That was, hey, it's on you still, bro. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But so many guys, because I also get on the other side where dudes are like, "Oh, dude, you shouldn't have loved a girl. Don't you look at haven't you read the climate about relationships and
Yeah.
marriages?
Like
Did you not know
you
the
thought you could
divorce
be
rate?"
happily married to a traditional woman in today's society? Bro?
Yeah, dude,
you
it's like
you
what,
haven't been on
70,
4chan
80%?
enough, my friend.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah.
Right. You're
So
like,
that's funny. You get hate from both sides. You get hate from the
yeah,
guys that are like, "Oh,
yeah,
bro, like cry me a river," and then you've got
right.
that's crazy that you do.
Yeah,
You're getting you're getting two different views that are kind of
yeah,
coinciding on yours just while you're telling your story, and that's
yeah,
going to happen with anybody that's honest about their story and their situation
yeah,
on social media. Like you're going to see that play out, and I think that your story outlines it outlines a whole lot of things. It shows that everything can look perfect like from the outside, when while on the inside like things are very very unstable, they're falling apart. It shows that there are men out there that will stick with women, like even if they're being like abused, even if they're being mistreated so much. I mean, even to the point where like women will accuse men of hurting them, and yet the men will still stay with them,
still
even though
there.
they didn't do that. They're like, it's mind blowing how far like men will go to maintain the relationship. But I think it's really important to remember in those moments that like being a leader is enacting justice. Like, and if you aren't saving any justice for yourself, then I mean there's no respect in that. Like nobody's gonna respect you, And
Right.
so it's the moment that you start realizing like, okay, I have to fight for myself. Like I have to post on social media. I have
Yeah.
to do something that I don't necessarily want to do. Like, I don't want to put myself out there. I'm sure you've been hesitant with a lot of the videos that you posted, especially when you first started, to be like,
Yeah.
hey, this is a story that's going to make people view me in a bad light. Like, I'm not doing this for the clout or the fame or for the views or the followers, like, or the money. I'm just trying to like educate some guys and show them
Yeah.
like, hey, it can happen to you too, even if you think that you're bulletproof, even if you think that you're extremely successful and that she would never leave you. It's like relationships have changed. They've changed so starkly. And if you're searching for that traditional woman and for a good relationship, you're gonna have to be so much more careful nowadays.
Right.
So much more careful. So tell me a little bit about, to kind of wrap up your story here. Tell me, the divorce happened. Were you left in like financial chaos compared to where you were, or was the separation financially pretty mutual? Like
It,
you
it
did.
was.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Of all the things all considered, all the disrespect, the divorce was pretty amicable. It
Okay.
was pretty cordial.
Okay.
Right.
Good.
Although there were times when she would threaten something and I was like, okay, then I will turn it into a contested divorce because we did uncontested.
I see.
Right.
Yeah.
That was a mutual agreement because it was like, hey, the only asset that we have together is this house.
Yeah.
Right. And then she just wanted to be done.
Hmm.
Right. She's like, you have nothing that I want. And then
Yeah.
I don't have anything, or
Yeah.
she doesn't want anything that or have anything I want. Right. So
Imagine how much worse it would have been if there was assets involved, if there
yeah,
was more stuff involved. I mean,
yeah,
your situation's horrible, but at the same
right.
time, like you got out relatively unscathed. I mean, there's these other
Yeah,
guys that are going through it that go into the relationship with
right.
a ton. They
A
go into the
ton of
relationship with
stuff.
a ton.
Yeah,
She's coming from nothing.
right,
And then she leaves with half the money, even more, all the legal fees, all this type of stuff where, the judicial system benefits her. So your divorce story is
right.
actually like relatively chill.
It's pretty chill. Yeah. Just outside of the crazy, just like behind closed doors behavior
Yeah.
on paper is just like, oh, well, she cheated. They got it uncontested and he still lives in the house. She moved to a different city.
Yeah.
Like, it's pretty clean cut like that. Right. And
Yeah.
it's been a blessing. Right. And it's
Yeah.
allowed me to, you know, I I can afford to I pay my half here, right?
Yeah.
Plus the bills, utilities, I can afford to
Hmm.
do that.
Hmm.
Where, hey, she she went and got a new place while still tied to a mortgage. That's
Hmm.
not my problem.
Yeah.
And she'll
Hmm.
complain about it like this isn't fair. It is fair. You
Yeah.
signed up for it. It's not my problem. You moved and got a different place.
There you
Wow.
go. Okay. Okay. Well, that's
So
really encouraging that
yeah.
at the end of the day, it does seem to have, a good ending on your part where at least you're not getting dragged through the mud. You've kind of realized all of these things I'm sure that you're going to use moving forward. So, how do you reconcile with yourself? How do you get your respect back? Your view, because I assume that your own view of yourself and your self-image was harmed during this entire process because
Yeah.
looking back on it,
Yeah.
you're like, wow, there's so many things I should have realized. There's so many things I wish I would have done differently. What does the process look like of getting that respect back after hitting
Yeah.
rock bottom?
You know, I like I like to talk about suffering when it comes to a man, right? And specifically, right, I'll show you this picture I have of Jesus, right? He's praying in Gethsemane, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've kept this picture for, gosh, for years. But this, you know, historical discrepancies aside, he's praying on an olive tree,
Yeah.
right? And he's in the Garden of Gethsemane and he's atoning for our sins. He's suffering, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're like this perfect man, this God had to suffer.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what was there no other way? And it's like there was no other way, right? And
Mm-hmm.
he had to die for us. So my testimony, my self-respect comes from, okay, if he can do that,
Mm-hmm.
then I can get through this,
Yeah.
right? But not, I'm not comparing myself to, no, that's not, it's not that. It's more of a, any great man that's gotten anywhere in life had to suffer.
Hmm.
Okay. I think that's just a concrete philosophy that I have
Hmm.
is that if you're a man that's not willingly and sometimes deliberately putting yourself in uncomfortable situations,
Mm-hmm.
you're never going to get anywhere.
Yeah.
How are you going to learn, right? Knowing what I know now, I didn't know a year ago.
Yeah.
I didn't have the self-respect, the self-esteem, the courage, the bravery, the emotional intelligence, the emotional maturity that I have now a year ago.
Hmm.
It's non-negotiable for me.
Yeah.
So what started to like really click for me was obviously my initial main decision to finally follow through with the divorce was in fact after the betrayal of her family, because then I was like,
Yeah.
I'm done with all of them.
Yeah.
Right. That I remember it was like I was about to go into the courthouse. I have a picture of it, but it's the signed papers inside the orange envelope, right? Had them all printed out. She had signed everything, and I was shaking
Hmm.
because I was like, I've never ever thought I would be doing this,
Yeah.
right? But it was like this is a time to be brave.
Yeah.
That's the difference is if a man, when he's scared to death, if he can decide to be brave, everything else will follow. The self-respect, that's a moment of self-respect as you're saying,
Hmm.
no, I'm no longer allowing myself to be treated this way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm no longer allowing myself, my mind, to be a slave to those memories of what she was doing behind my back, the words
Hmm.
she was saying, the betrayal, all of these things that the adversary, that the devil, like a wedge, he
Yep.
plants in your head, and right, he plants in your head and he says, discouragement.
Mm-hmm.
It's discouragement. That's where guys fall short, is
Yep.
they get so discouraged
100%.
and
Yep.
the thing is it never goes away. It never goes away.
Mm-hmm.
There's always gonna be a little like a splinter of discouragement, and it's there by design,
Hmm.
right? It's not that you're we know we're not perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's just like get that out of the way. You're not perfect. You're not God. I'm not God, and I'm glad that I'm not God because that's a big responsibility. But I'm a son of God,
Hmm.
and He loves me. He suffered for me. There's a way out,
Hmm.
right? And if there's a way out, then I can pick myself up off the floor.
Yeah.
I have I was confronted this divorce, right? If you're looking at a man's life, right, and he can't get to you any other way, he'll get to you through a girl.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it might be by design. That
Yeah.
might be there might be something there on a spiritual plane manner, if you will, all the way back to Adam and Eve, where it
Yep.
was like, I cannot get to him in any other way. I'm gonna send this beautiful girl that's gonna be obsessed with him,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm gonna
Oh.
make her. I'm going to allow her to turn her heart and backstab him
Yeah.
and break him and tear him down.
Yeah.
And God is saying, and I'm gonna watch what he does.
Hmm.
And I decided, you know what? I know God is real. I know he loves me. I know that the Savior died for my sins so that I could be a better man. What am I gonna do about it from this day on?
Wow.
One of those decisions was like, go file the papers, right? Get yourself busy. I was already in the gym all the time. I was like, you learned all these things from football. You know a second language. You know how to study. You know how to talk to people. You know how to socialize. And then I started posting content, and it just blew up, man. It was like, all right, it's like, okay, there's something here. There's
Yeah.
something here that I need to tap into, and I love to talk to people. Right, I'm not afraid to. And the other thing too, to reiterate, is that I am okay with looking like in between those two sides, those
Yep.
guys, right? The guys that never get married and the guys that do, and then they don't know how to get out. I'm
Mm-hmm.
okay with their criticism from both sides.
Yeah.
I don't care what they think.
Yep.
Right.
I know. I get it, dude. And it's so
Yeah.
funny because I often find myself in a very, very similar situation with the content that I make where it's really hard to help men because a lot of them don't know that they need help yet. And then there are
Yeah.
other ones that like they need so much help it's
You
like
can't. Yeah.
you can't even give them all what they need. But
No.
it is one of the things that scares me the most is like men's belligerence to learning trying to learn like the reality of the situation. Like you just
Right.
know I interact with these guys on a daily basis all the time, and it's just high levels of cope that go around all the time. For
Yes.
they don't understand like how these relationships work yet. Like they don't understand how the world works, and you try to give them advice, and then they're like, okay, pretty boy, like
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
okay, dude, like,
Yeah.
what do you know? Like, you're in your 20s. Like, dude, you're a
Right.
virgin. Stop giving me
Right.
advice about dating. Like, I get
Yeah.
it all the time. And
Yeah.
it's so true that it, it's, it's a very self-sacrificial thing to try to minister to men, like because they will tear you apart at any point in the way, and you have to find that group of people who really resonate with your message and the
Yeah.
people who really appreciate it for what it is. Like that's
Yeah.
what I've found. And
Yeah.
boy, is what you're saying true about the how hard it is to reject a woman that is obsessed with you. Because when they're obsessed with you, bro, it feels so good.
Oh,
It
good.
scratches so many itches. It fills all of the gaps in your life.
Yep.
And you're like, when you have a beautiful woman that is obsessed with you,
Yeah.
it makes you want to throw everything out the window. And I make that type of content as well, where I tell guys, I'm like, guys, please beware. I'm like, when you find a beautiful woman and she is obsessed with you, you will throw your religion out the window. Like
Yeah.
you will do anything that you possibly can to make it work with this woman. And guys will say, "No, dude, you don't know.
Nah,
I'm
dude.
a
It's not
Christian. I
me.
would
I'm
never do
different.
that. I would never throw my virtues and my morals out the window." But it does happen. And this society is breeding this type of woman that is so powerful. Like the guys, they aren't prepared for it. Like they
Oh,
aren't prepared for it at all. And especially not the good guys. Because
yes,
the
exactly.
fuck boys, they can go around and I mean, they love it. It's
Yeah,
fantastic for them because they get a piece of everything. They get to go around.
right.
But the people who are looking for actual, genuine connection, the people who have actually been raised right, it's those people that end up getting screwed over the most. Like it's the guys who choose to trust, or like the guys who choose even to open up. Like the entire idea of like, oh yeah, open up to me. Like you should be able to
Yes.
cry. Like I'm just I've changed my entire view, and I genuinely I look at my parents. You know, they were married, they were virgins. I think they've been married for a very long time as well, just like your parents. And my sister, my brother, all married, have great relationships, and it's awesome to see. But at the same time, I can't go into relationships like they have. Like
Right.
I can't do it. Like I
No.
honestly can't. I've tried. Like I've had relationships with Christian women. I mean, and one of the things that I don't talk about a whole lot on here, I've made heartbreak videos where I talk about some of my experiences, but I'm definitely I don't go super in depth on it. But I mean, I was engaged at one point, like to a woman who I genuinely thought I was going to spend the rest of my life with, and I was fully immersed. I mean, you're
Yeah.
engaged. I was fully immersed. I was prepared to give this woman everything,
Yeah.
and yet I was betrayed. And I should have seen it coming. Like I should have seen
Yeah.
it coming. I was genuinely dumbfounded like by what I had seen, but going back through and tracing things, I want to make it clear. She didn't cheat on me. Like I should make that clear because some of the people that
Mhm.
watch this may, you know, probably know her. And
Yeah.
she didn't cheat on me, but at the end of the day, the relationship fell apart. Like because I genuinely think it's because I was fully invested and because I
Yeah.
was willing to walk away and I was willing to give her everything that she wanted. Like I was literally willing to give her everything that she wanted, and yet she still rejected it. Like because of the fact that I was fully invested in giving her
Yeah.
what I thought she wanted, what she said that she wanted. You say that you want this, but what they actually want is so much different than that. And it comes from that from the foundational understanding that like as a man you have to control the woman, like that Adam and Eve, you can trace it all the way back to the garden. It's like that's our job. Like our job is
Yeah.
to keep a woman in check. Like our job is to be the leader. You can't have that when she's
Right.
constantly trying to have control over you, or if you've just decided this woman can do no wrong, she can do anything and I am going to not like there are going to be no consequences. She can get away with it because this picture that I have of her in my mind needs to remain untainted, unbesmirched. Like, and
Yep.
that's what ends the relationship. And I feel like guys come too, but by then it's too late. By
Yep.
then they have so much despair that they've become incels. And they're the guys in your comment section that are saying, "Yo, Zach, didn't you know, bro? These 304s are
Yep.
everywhere. Like you
Yep.
thought you were gonna get away with it, bro." They're these guys that don't even go out and they don't go on dates. And they just
Yep.
watch porn all day and they jerk off.
They're the OnlyFans subscribers,
They're
bro.
the
That's who they are.
OnlyFans subscribers. They're paying for these things while like saying women ain't shit, women are terrible, blah blah blah. And yeah, they're the ones that are like out here soliciting, you know, the
Yeah.
sex from the women. It's so backwards. So you can't become an incel, but you also have
Yeah.
to educate yourself, and you don't want to become a playboy. Like you don't want to become a bad person who's manipulating women, who's using women. And so you
Yeah.
have to be able to find this middle ground. Who's coming up with what this middle ground looks like where you're somehow educated but you're also in abundance, and at the same time like you know how women operate but also you're trying to control them and you understand that the control is necessary, but the women are constantly going to be saying, "Oh, you're being too controlling." Even people in my family, like when I speak about that, I'm like, "Guys, like this is how the relationship needs to look." They're like, "Oh, you know, don't be too controlling. Don't be too controlling." And I've even had I've even had people in my family say to me before, which was mind blowing to me. It really is a shocker. Like even coming from a traditional family, I've had my mom, when speaking about specific girls, I've had my mom say to me before, hey, like if you're ever gonna go out on a date with that girl, or if you're ever going to date that specific woman that's in the church, you need to make sure that you treat her like a princess. And you need to make sure that you like put everything on the line for her and that she can pretty much do no wrong. And I'm like, I think back on it, I'm like, Mom, I'm a guy. I'm like, I'm making seven figures. I'm like, I'm good looking. I'm like, I'm loyal. I'm all these things. And you're telling me that I still have like another
Yeah.
standard that I need to live up to and that I can't seek to control this woman because I like to use that inflammatory language of like, hey, I'm gonna control my wife. Like she is going to be subservient to me. I like using those words because it just shows the discrepancy because people will immediately say, "Oh yeah, you are controlling. Like
Right.
this is terrible." But in reality, that's what we're called to do as men. Like that's the role that we're supposed to fall into, but people have such a problem using these words because of feminism. Like because women
Exactly.
have become so independent and it's changed the entire game. So, leading into the next question for you, you're trying to like fight off this despair at the same time. You're fighting off despair on this front, and thoughts are creeping into your head where you're like, is this even worth it? Is anything even worth it? Like, what am I doing in my life that is making this life worth living? Not only that, but should I even try to go back out and find another girl? Should I even try? What's going through your head now? And are you thinking, okay, eventually I'll have to get back into the game? Are you thinking, I'm just going to focus on myself and when the right one comes along, I'll do that? What's your thought process while you're also trying not to fall into this incel trap?
Yeah, no, dude, I actually I spoke about one of my, I want to say my biggest video on TikTok. Actually, it dispels the fantasy, the fantasy where your identity as a man is tied to this girl that broke your heart. And it's
Hmm.
like, and I think I even titled it when is the actual breakup,
Hmm.
right? The actual breakup is not when the girl literally says, I'm done with you. She's dumped you on the phone, text message, doesn't matter. The actual breakup is when you as a man start to feel that tie to this
Hmm.
girl, right? It could be a week, it could be a month. It's when you start to see the fantasy where this girl is not who she was to
Yeah.
begin with.
Yeah.
That's the fantasy. It is the idea that these guys have planted in their head to say, "Oh, she would never do that to me."
Hmm.
Or
Yeah.
it's this on the incels. I would never let that happen to me,
Hmm.
right? So to answer your question, man, it has not been easy. Where I I think the stereotypical, right, advice from that incel crowd is to go. They say go get under another girl as quick as you can.
Yep.
Oh, go get under five. Go get
Hmm.
under 15. Oh, by 20, you're gonna forget her.
Yep. You'll have
No, you're not.
forgotten. You'll be able to roll along.
Yep.
Is that what you're doing?
No,
What's
man.
the method, bro?
I'm not doing it at all. Not doing it at all.
Very good.
Because, right, if you even just let's just talk about the emotional piece to that.
Hmm.
When you have sex with a woman, you're emotionally tying yourself to her,
Hmm.
right? More so the girl. That's why I say when a woman sleeps with another man while she's with you,
Hmm.
it's over.
Yeah.
It is so much more severe on a woman's biological, right, side, emotional, whatever blueprint, whatever you want to call it, where she is letting another man enter her.
Yeah.
It's done.
Yeah.
For guys, it's not as sensitive, right? But it accumulates interest. Okay,
100%. Yeah.
It
I
compounds.
totally agree with you.
It compounds,
Mhm.
and then because you don't feel it, you
Yeah.
don't feel it until 15, 20, 50 girls later,
Mhm.
100 girls later. You're so emotionally inept that
Yep.
you are incapable at connecting with a girl on a spiritual level.
Yeah.
You start to, and this is what they start to see them all the same. I'm going to use her. She doesn't provide anything for me, right?
Mhm.
I'm the prize, and it's this twisted, almost
Yep.
demonic lifestyle mindset.
Yep. And then once
And
that becomes the case, committing to one woman is impossible.
yeah, right. And then they look at you, they look at me, and they're like, "Oh, pff, you're a wussy, dude. You're a coward." I'm like,
Yeah.
me,
You want monogamy, bro?
yeah.
You want to stay loyal? You
Don't you
want to try
know?
to do
Right,
what God
right,
wants you to do?
right,
That's
right.
that's
So,
crazy. What are you doing?
right,
Yeah.
I I firmly believe that if anybody wants to change, you have to believe in God.
Mm.
You have to. There's no, I don't want anybody, oh, scientific. No,
Mhm.
let's just talk, let's just call it out as. If you believe in God, then you believe you can change. Because the whole gospel is about forgiveness, repentance, confession, admitting that you
Mhm.
are not Him.
Mhm.
That's what it comes down to.
Yes.
You have honesty, right? So, really, to answer your question, man, I had to be so honest with myself,
Mhm.
right? And I'll bring up one of the spiritual occurrences that I had. It was actually it's in my bedroom here. It was right in the trenches of everything going on.
Mhm.
Right? She had been sleeping with him, all this stuff, and I had struggled to pray. Right? One of the things that really tempts a man with when he gets power is that he thinks he doesn't need to go to the higher person. He
Yep.
doesn't need to go to the man upstairs because you're like, I can do
100%.
it on my own. I don't need you right now.
Yep.
Oh, I was faced with that where I was like, I can do this.
Mhm.
But then I eventually was like, I actually can't do this on my own.
Yeah.
Right. I was kneeling down side of my bed. I was emotional. I was crying. And I just said, I was just pleading with God, with Heavenly Father. I was just like, what do I have to do? What do I have to do? I like, can you just soften her heart? Can you turn her around? Can you show her that I'm a good man? I'm
Hmm.
saying all these things. I'm just trying to be honest. And I finally said, I asked God, I said, like, is is she mine? Is she supposed to be my wife? And I'll never forget voice the only words that came to my mind were she was never yours to begin with.
Hmm.
Now, there's two ways you can look at this that I immediately was conflicted with. The first is the way of the world. Oh, she was never yours, bro. It's just your turn,
Hmm.
right? The other way, okay, that I've trying to lean more into, but it's hard, is that she is a daughter of God.
Hmm.
She was never yours, meaning she is mine. God is saying, she's mine. She's not yours, she's mine, right?
Hmm.
She has her own agency, whatever, she has her own free will, whatever you want to call it. She has her own temptations, she has her own journey, she has her own path. I have a different path. And he was literally saying, this path, you, Zach, going forward, is without her.
Yeah.
And I just was like, all right, okay, God is real. I'm an imperfect man. I have my urges. I lust is hard to conquer.
Hmm.
I don't drink. I don't really smoke. Right. I don't do any of these things. But I'm still a man. But if God loves me, He's going to make sure, as long as I'm doing the right, if I'm trying, God loves effort.
Hmm.
He loves effort, man. He loves a man that's honest, and he loves a man that's trying his heart out.
Hmm.
But he hates. I say hate. He hates a lustful, lazy, idle man.
Hmm.
And I was faced with these two paths. Do
Mm-hmm.
I want to be this? Do I want to tap into my hardworking nature, right?
Hmm.
Where I know the truth, or do I want to give in and cave into this incel, porn minded, right? Porn brained, OnlyFans. Like I'm gonna cave and I'm gonna just divulge into this
Yeah.
self soothing masturbation. Like, you know what I mean? And
100%.
it was like, how could I have not decided to go down this path?
Yeah.
Well, I think it really comes down to a lot of these guys. They do not have a firm relationship with God. They don't know who the Savior is.
Yeah.
They don't.
Mm-hmm.
I know you do. Your lifestyle, the fact that you're waiting till marriage, it's a commandment, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the society today is saying, oh, we can bend the rules a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then you become a person. That's you. That's the character you are. You're a man that bends
Mm-hmm.
and folds and eventually breaks.
Mm-hmm.
And then you want to turn it around and you're going to blame God. You're going to blame society. And then you won't even blame yourself.
Yeah.
So I literally, I do so much writing, right? I journal. Um, all of my all of my posts are things that I have put on paper and then I try to put on video, right? Um, and that's why I decided I need to tell the story in real time because nothing is fabricated, nothing is fake. I'm not
Yeah.
lying about anything. I'm telling the truth. And in fact, with with my ex, I even we had this conversation about who we were as people, and I told her, said, I I'm a man of truth. I will always stand where the truth is at.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that's the kind of man I am. And I think it just personified and just showed our true natures. And
Mm-hmm.
God has allowed me to go through this process. It's painful. It
Yeah.
sucks. But I have been willing to confront. That's the difference. I'm willing to face my pain and I'm showing people
Yeah.
in real time. Dude, Christmas Eve, or actually the day before Christmas Eve, 23rd, I made that video where, I had just shaved my head, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sitting in my car in front of my driveway. And every single night before coming into my home, I have to muster the courage because of memories of because of it tries to make you guilt stricken. Oh, maybe you were in the wrong.
Wow.
Maybe you should message your Merry Christmas.
Oh, wow.
All of
Yeah.
these things, right? And
Oh.
I'm like, no, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to face it head on,
Mm.
but I'm showing, whoever listens in, who watches my videos, I'm showing like, hey, I know what it feels like to be sitting in your car in front of your house in your driveway for an hour before you walk in and greet your family.
Yeah.
Because it sucks. It
Mm-hmm.
sucks when you're sitting there and you feel you have it's like almost like you have everything, but you feel left out.
Yeah.
You feel like you're not doing enough. And I tap into that because I know there's so many guys that do the exact same thing,
100%.
you know?
Yeah, and I think that what you said about the lust is spot on because it's during those moments when you've poured so much into a woman, physical energy, spiritual energy, emotional
Yeah.
energy, and you sever that tie. That's where lust hits you the hardest. Is because now every single time you feel that bodily urge, you are reminded of her and you are reminded of what it would be like to go back and like message her. Like
Yeah.
it makes you want her back, but then you're like, no, I can't get her back.
No.
What are you doing? What are you thinking? And then you're left with this sexual desire that is reminding you of her. And
Yeah.
then, in order to get rid of the sexual desire, what do? Well, almost out of spite towards her and almost out of an act to try to get back at her, you decide to take your own sexual gratification into your own hands. And then
Yeah.
you decide to go pay the OF. model, and you decide to go watch porn, and
Ah,
you go
yeah,
decide to do all of this other stuff that literally just makes it worse, and then it becomes this spiral of spiteful vengeance where you're satisfying yourself sexually to keep her out of your mind, like to keep
right.
those images away, to keep them further away from you, and then you fall into that pit. And then that's where
Yeah,
guys find themselves with the whole incel situation, is like
yeah,
right back at square one. But I think that it's really cool that you're able to go through and identify all these specific struggles that you have, like the holidays. I mean, that's got to be brutal. That's got to be
yeah, man.
the worst time in order to
Yeah,
be thinking about that and thinking like, wow, you know what we had, it was really good. Like maybe there's a chance that like she could have changed, but it's such a difficult dichotomy to be a loyal man who wants to uphold the truth and what is good and what is just, but at the same time to understand that you need to be able to walk away and like sever ties, and that you have to treat disrespect with a lot of importance. Like you have to put a
yeah,
lot of weight on that. And it's when you stop, respecting yourself that you start making those compromises.
right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that is really, really powerful. And yeah,
The compromising. Yeah,
your videos have been very, very like eye-opening. I think for a lot of guys, because it puts them on higher alert, to be able to see that stuff before it goes further,
yeah, well,
before they end
yeah,
up in code
yeah.
red.
Well,
Like
the other thing, and it's kind of funny, is that the comments that one of the comments I get all the time is they're like, if this guy got cheated on, then I'm fucked.
100%. Yep, I know,
And I'm
dude.
like, oh, dude.
It is funny. And I get that as well, because
Yeah.
I talk about what do I talk about? I talk about how I want like a wife, and I want to be monogamous, and I want to have kids, and I want to
Yeah.
like have a good Christian marriage, like all these different types of things. People will say like, "Oh, bro, why aren't you yet?" Like if you're not like wifed up,
Oh
like
yeah.
then we're cooked. And it's like, "Hey, dude, like hey, best believe I am trying." But
I
like
could, I'm chopped if
I'm
he's not.
trying. I try to keep my head up. Like when
Yeah.
dating, like I really do. It's a constant battle. Like it's a constant fight to keep your head up, but you do have to remind yourself like, hey, there are good girls out there. Like there are
Yeah.
good quality girls out there that won't cheat on you, that
Right.
you can have a great relationship with. And do you have any sort of like recommendations or insights on like how you're going to go about like navigating things in the future?
Yeah. I I actually it's kind of funny, dude. I've been on a few I've been on a few dates,
Hmm.
right? The first two were way too soon.
Yeah.
A part of me, and I've talked about this in a little bit of detail, is that it goes back to that combating that carnal side of you as a man, where you just want to jump into something, right?
100%. Yeah.
So the reason why does a heartbreak, why does it hurt a man so much?
Hmm.
It hurts your masculine. Well, what does that mean?
100%. Yeah.
Well, when you're in a relationship, an actual good relationship or whatever, just a relationship in general, dating, marriage, it means you're valuable as a man.
Yeah.
You're from a biological, let's just go back, let's just say tribes, right?
Hmm.
You had the hunters, right? You're the toughest guy that had the hottest woman or multiple,
Hmm.
because you brought actual value,
Hmm.
and they could sense that, they could see that. Well, in my case, like millions of other men, I was cheated on.
Yeah.
My masculine was at stake. It was laid bare. It was set
Hmm.
on the altar. And I'm
Yeah.
suddenly like, whoa, maybe I'm not as good looking. Maybe I'm not as strong. Maybe I'm not as diligent and have integrity. I don't make as much money. Like, you know what I mean? It
Hmm.
just,
Yeah.
all of it. It's not just one, it's the whole shebang, where you suddenly are in question. right? And so you add that to the mix, right? This tonic of confusion, but I also know what I want, but it's just this, where I'm like, so these pretty girls start coming around and they see, oh, he's back in the market.
Mm-hmm.
He's single again. And they know that I'm vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the
Mm.
women. Those are the women you got to be careful for after, because they like sharks in the freaking water, man. They smell blood. And they're like, mm-mm. He's emotionally unavailable, right?
Mm.
Meaning he's okay if he just takes me home,
Yep.
right? And so I didn't take these girls home, but I would go on dates with them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like I own this side, right? Where I was like, I probably shouldn't have gone out with them, but it was like they wanted things too soon,
Yeah.
right? They were like, "Oh, you were giving all of this to this girl that didn't deserve it, but I deserve it."
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, "How do I know that? How do I know that?"
That's funny, dude.
You
Hey,
know?
well, at least the abundance is there. The
Yeah,
abundance is
yeah.
there.
So
It's
this,
there.
but
That's
like, it's
that's
like,
crazy.
but like this one this one girl was literally like, literally was, why aren't you giving me the emotional side of you? And
Yeah.
I literally, it was no matter what I said, and I was just so honest. I said, "Hey, I am just not emotionally available. I
Yeah.
can't, I can't just be like lovey-dovey romantic because
Mm-hmm.
I'm still so naked, if you will, with what I went through, right?" And it's like, as much as us guys, we have these things with our breakups, right? It's just like the discourse on like how women deal with it too, is that they just, and that's the thing, man. It's like, it's almost like I've gained a new sense with
Mm.
talking, not just to people, but talking to women.
Yeah.
I can tell what their intentions are
Yep.
so much quicker.
The veil has been lifted.
It's just
Now
like,
you
it's
see.
like
Now you
you
see the
can,
truth. It is crazy, isn't it? Like now,
yeah,
like
yeah,
after you go through, you can almost spot it from like miles
yeah,
away. You can almost
yeah,
spot it from miles away, and it's what I see in it is the veil lifting is actually you keeping your emotions, like staying above your emotions and staying on
yeah,
top of them, because it's the emotions that's the veil. It's the
yes,
emotions that causes that future pacing. That,
right,
hey, I can't, oh, I'd love to see a future with this girl. Oh, this
yeah,
girl's everything I've ever wanted. It's the emotions that cloud the man's judgment, like
right,
in the first place. But now that the veil has been torn, you're going to find these girls that are like, oh, like the veil is torn. Like, why aren't you like
yeah,
fully emotionally investing in me? And honestly, in my opinion, in this dating market, like with how things are laid out today, you can date girls at church. You can choose the creme de la creme, the girls who you think are the best and the most loyal, but you
right,
have to lift the veil, like,
yeah,
or your marriage is going to fall apart. Your
right,
marriage is going to fall apart. She's going to wear the pants in the family. Like, she's
yeah,
going to gain control. Your life is going to revolve around her rather than revolving around your mission. You're going to get fat. You're going to get
yeah,
sloppy. It's exactly everything that we see the modern man becoming. Like, even in
yeah,
these relationships, like people will say, oh, Brandon, but if you find the right girl, then blah, 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 blah. It's like, dude, all of these men, I see them go out and they get married and they fall out of shape. And their wives wear the pants in the family. I'm like, I don't want that. I don't want
no,
that. I see this happening in the church. I see it happening with the best of the best, with the most masculine men. They all tend to go down this path. It just
slippery
chips
slope.
away over time. Yeah.
Yeah, no, you see it a unfortunately, it's a lot in the church. It's a
Mm-hmm.
lot.
That that's
It's
what
so,
dude, that's what I'm trying to fix. Like
yeah,
that's what I'm trying to reawaken, honestly, is like
yeah,
I do think that men should feel more like they're the prize. And I don't want it to be like this disgusting, like ego inflated, like, oh, like you're so much worse than me and like I'm gonna control you. No, it's that I want the veil to be lifted. Like, I
Yeah.
want men to not let their emotions cloud their judgment. And I want them to think rationally. And I also want them to understand that women are emotional creatures and that you can't, no matter what you say, you can't convince her to think rationally like you. Like, and so you
No.
have to navigate the relationship knowing that and saying, I can't use logic and reason to control this woman. I have to use emotions. Like, I have to
Really?
use
Right.
leverage in order
Yeah.
to maintain a proper relational dynamic, because this woman
Right.
is, even if she's the best of the best, been raised in the church, she's constantly hearing this propaganda, and she
Yep.
constantly has access to being able to go make $3,000 a weekend as a bottle service girl. She has access to being able to sell her body online to all of these
Yep.
other dudes who have been hurt, who are trying to jack off so they don't think about their
Right.
ex. It's like this
That
cycle.
haven't
It's
earned
like this
it. That haven't
cycle.
earned it. Right.
Exactly. They put zero effort to get there, but she can go out and she can sell her body and she can make millions of dollars without becoming a better person. All the while she's becoming a worse person. She can
Yep.
go and she can do that. And so it's a dangerous world. It's a dangerous dynamic. And the guys need to know about it. They need to know
Yeah.
how to operate, and they need to be able to activate that stoicism. And I don't think that any man should be really giving himself to a woman like fully emotionally, because I
Yeah.
don't think men truly understand what that means to be truly emotionally vulnerable with a woman. I think that every man needs to maintain stoicism like throughout his entire life, throughout his entire relationship, because
Yeah.
she will never, and I know this because my parents happily married for years and years and years. My mom will still say all the time, I just do not fully understand your dad, but I've had to come to accept that. And I'm like, that is what it needs to look like. Like, she
Yeah.
needs
Yeah.
to be okay with not fully understanding you.
Yep.
Because as soon as she feels like, oh, yeah, I fully understand him. Oh, yeah, I can control him with his emotions, with his lust, using my body, she'll toss you to the curb. She tosses you to the curb as soon as that happens. As soon as she has the control, you've
Yeah.
shown yourself as being a man who is controllable. And if she
Right.
sees that you're a man that's controllable, you're no longer the leader. You've lost all the respect in her eyes, whether or not she wants to admit it or not. And she's going to constantly say, oh, no, I respect that you're telling me all your emotions and telling me everything that you think. I respect that you tell me how much you love me, like all these different types of things. And it's like,
Right.
dude, if you're giving up your power in order to do that, if you're doing that in order to keep her happy, it's the very thing that's gonna be
Yes.
the end of you.
It's a trap. It's a trap. That's where
Mhm.
I always tell guys, it's your purpose over pleasure.
Mhm.
Right? It's your purpose. What's your purpose? And most guys are like the surface level stuff,
Mhm.
right? But like on a deeper level, what's your mission?
Yeah.
Why are you yeah, you want to make a lot of money. All of us want to make a lot of money, dude.
What's the goal?
What are you doing with this
Mhm.
money?
Yep.
Like, and what are you creating? And one of those, it's actually the reason why I started posting and started creating content and started getting my voice out there, is because I saw this quote, it was on Twitter X, right? And I'll have to find this in my bookmarks, but it was a question quote, and it says, "What wants to be born through me?"
Hmm.
And I thought that was an interesting way just to say, what do I want to bring into this world?
Hmm.
But I thought about it like, huh, what wants to be born through me, right?
Hmm.
What do I want to create? What do I want to build with my own two hands,
Yeah.
right? And how many guys, especially today, with so much abundance, so much football, so much basketball, so many different things grabbing your attention, will they say, you know what? No, 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 no. I want to do it my way. I want to create something myself. There's
Yeah.
no need, there's no incentive,
Mm-hmm.
right? All
Totally.
these other guys are doing it. I can just
Mm-hmm.
follow suit. I can wear borrowed skin. That's what
Yep.
they are. I don't need my own opinion. I have the opinion of the masses.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'll vote right. I'll vote left because everyone else
Yep.
is doing it.
Yep.
right?
Wearing another man's jersey,
Oh,
envying another man's life on social media.
so that's the thing is like
Name of the game.
you know, I'm from Dallas. Of course, I'm a Cowboys fan, right? Gosh, it's miserable being a Cowboys fan, but
Yeah.
um, so it's interesting because I'll get into debates with guys about that very topic about
Hmm.
wearing another man's name on your back.
Yeah.
Well, I have a little bit more, you know, weight because I played football,
Hmm.
right? I had my name on the back of my
Yeah.
jersey, right? You know, there's school on the front or your
Hmm.
professional team. It doesn't matter, right? I have an Emmett Smith jersey. Come on,
Hmm.
he's a great player. He's done a lot for the community. It's like he's a great dude. I've
Hmm.
worn that jersey one time because I went to a Cowboys game,
Yeah.
but I'm not idolizing. I'm not putting up a signed jersey. I look, Tom
Yeah.
Brady's a great player. He's the greatest player of all time. But I'm not going to put it up like a shrine.
Yeah.
He's
And
just a dude.
you're also not going to be the epitome of slothfulness and
Oh,
weakness while wearing Tom
yeah,
Brady's jersey. Like
right.
you'll see the
Some
sports fans
some
like drinking
350
beer all
pound guy.
Sunday, like with their guts hanging out, and it's like,
Yeah,
what is
yeah.
going on here? It's like,
And they
don't you want to
don't.
be
Yeah,
like him a little bit?
yeah,
Like you're
yeah.
wearing his
You're
jersey,
wearing his
bro.
jersey.
Like go do
So
something.
if they even know who he is,
Yeah. Yeah. That's
it's the truth, man. I will tell you, this whole experience has just opened my eyes. It has allowed me to, I say, this is probably in every single video, I say the same thing. It has revealed me to myself,
yeah. Hmm.
this heartbreak. And that is what a heartbreak in a manner, if it's whether it's a girl or somebody died, or you even just losing a dog, right?
Yeah.
It allows you to look at life in the third person,
Yeah.
right? Where literally like you're looking down at the world and you realize, okay, this is a small blip, right, in my life, this occurrence. But what am I going to do? How am I going to react?
Yeah.
Right? People don't care. Truthfully, people don't care what happens to you. They care how you react
Hmm.
to what happens to you.
Hmm.
And I've noticed that, right? And I took advantage of that. I allowed people to see and see how am I going to react to this heartbreak, to this divorce, infidelity, betrayal, all of it, right?
Yeah.
And I've allowed that to be this channel, fueled my new life,
Yeah.
right? And it's been pretty miraculous just to experience something like that, and a hard thing for most of us going through a hard occurrence, whatever it is, experience, is to be grateful for it,
Yeah.
right? It's like, how do you be grateful for, how is somebody supposed to be grateful for someone passing away, right?
Yeah.
That's a little bit of a harder conversation to have because I'm not going to say, like, people will say, and you always get the guys, they'll come on and be like, well, I have stage 4 leukemia or cancer, like your situation's not as bad. And it's like, I'm not here to compare that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like, so, but you know what I'm saying? It's like, how do you, I've learned when I want to be resentful, when I want to be angry at her, when I want to be even mad and angry at myself,
Hmm.
I deliberately decide to be grateful
Yeah.
for the thing, grateful for the
Mm.
thing that I hate most. And it's truly, truly changed my life.
Yeah.
Just that right there.
That is beautiful. And yeah, the only way that I ever ended up being able to work through my bitterness and my grief for from the experiences that I have had was ultimately like praying for those people, because it's the most painful thing to do is like
Yeah.
sending prayers their way, and like even
Right.
saying like, God, like, not only do I hope that they get closer to you, but I also pray that they thrive in life. And it fucking
Yeah.
stings to say that. It
Sucks, dude.
stings so bad,
Yes.
but it works. And
It
ultimately,
does.
it's how you get power back in your own life is like being able to
Yeah.
say those things and being like, hey, like I prayed for you. I prayed for you to have a better life. I prayed for you to get better and be in a better situation and be in a better headspace and
Yeah.
find somebody like for you that, hopefully you treat better. Like as you pray those things, it it gives you control back. And all of a sudden, like now you've got the reins again. And now you feel, oh wow, like this was the most painful thing ever, but it set me free. Like
Right.
it set me free from that guilt and that anger. So
That's great. That it definitely sets you free from the guilt.
yeah.
Right. And it's interesting, right? Where looking through what I went through, it's like, why would I feel guilty for something that I didn't do?
Yeah.
Right? Why would I feel guilty? I'm not the one that cheated. I'm
Yeah.
not the one that was talking to. In fact, I wasn't talking to any women
Yeah.
whatsoever. I had, even dating wise, I unfollowed every single chick that
Yeah.
she didn't know.
Hmm.
Right. And it was like, so it's like that was an interesting conundrum, if you will, to be like, why am I feeling guilty? Right. And I think a part of that is just the adversary wants you to feel guilty because it comes back in full swing where you're like, oh, maybe you were doing something
Yeah.
wrong or
Yep.
you deserve to have that happen to you.
More shame.
Right.
More shame. More
And
guilt.
that's part of that self-respect.
Mhm.
Whenever I feel guilty, right. And part of it is, dude, it's kind of to be frank, I just think about the guys she was talking about. I'll be like,
Yeah.
oh, I wasn't talking to anybody, but she was. And
Yep.
that's just that disrupts the pattern in my head where I stopped feeling a certain way, you know?
Yeah. Totally. Well, I've got to head to the gym, so we'll wrap things up. I do probably want to get on another one
Dude, heck yeah.
sometime
Yeah.
in the future, just to like discuss things because I need
Yeah.
I do need some sort of outlet for talking about like dating stuff. And I'm not a
Yeah.
dating coach by any means. I always say I'm not a dating coach. I'm a fitness coach, but like
Yeah.
it's good to be able to discuss these things, get different perspectives, and also have, like connections with other guys who are trying to do the right thing. They're trying to stay on the straight and
Yeah.
narrow, but also like they're trying to navigate like this specific situation that we're in. I think that it's really helpful for other people as well. So I'll go ahead and I'll say a quick prayer here just
Yeah.
as we wrap things up, and
Yeah.
we'll go ahead and end it off here. God our Father in heaven, I thank you for Zach. I thank you for his content. And I pray that over the next couple months, with everything that you've taught him, that you would continue to put your loving hand on him as well as his content, help it to thrive. And help the people that need to see it and to absorb the information and the lessons that he is teaching young men. I pray that you would really help people to have their eyes opened to how they can go about guarding their hearts in this current situation while also navigating trying to have successful relationships. I pray that as time goes on here, that you would continue to put your loving hand on Zach's life, and that you would continue to draw him closer to you. I have heard a couple of different things during our time conversing together. He said that he believes that Jesus died for his sins, and that Jesus is God, and that is the most important thing, Lord. I pray that you would just continue to renew a steadfast spirit within him and continue to give him a craving for your word, and that he would just continue to grow in that as he continues to post. I pray that you would keep him safe throughout this entire situation, and that as things continue to unfold and the memories continue to be present, that you would give him the strength to fight the daily battles that he does need to fight against the lust, against the devil, like when the devil does try to enter back into his life, and that he wouldn't be tempted to turn to substances to take the easy way out, and that he would really fully commit to this transformation that has happened over the past couple months, and truly become a new man and emerge very, very different, and with a good story to tell that can impact millions and millions of people. Thank you for this conversation. Bless our future ones. And in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
We'll go ahead and end it there. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Make sure to go shoot Zach a follow. I'm going to go ahead and put up your Instagram just kind of like in the corner here so that people can actually
Sure.
follow you, because I'm pretty sure that it just says Zoom user on there. So I'll write down your Instagram and your TikTok ad on there. So hopefully more people can come find you. But let's do this again. Yeah, I'll continue to
Yeah.
think of some topics, and yeah, we'll hop on some other time when the time is right and discuss things. It was great getting to know you, and
Yes,
I
sir.
really appreciate you taking the time, Zach.
Yeah. Thanks, Brandon. I appreciate it.
Have a
man.
good rest of
It's
your day,
awesome.
brother. See
Yep.
ya.
See ya.